December 23rd.
There it is.
I went, this is what it's about, man.
Uh-huh.
And I came back and handed the check in, and I just said, okay, this is still working. And the smile on their face, and that being a family event, you can't tell me that stuff isn't changing generations. Welcome to the Necessary Entrepreneur.
The Necessary.
Yes, and there's a lot of reasons behind it, but this isn't about us. This is about everything Paul Miller. You don't get to see this.
That's fine.
This is how good we are on figuring out everything Paul Miller, which is deep, man. So 2020, right, all the way back from, can we call you the Circus Entrepreneur?
My official title is Chief Goof Officer, okay?
How do you get that title?
CGO. I made it up. It's hyphenated, just like, make it up.
When did you make it up?
Long time ago. I made it up in Chicago with my old circus up there called Circus Team. So that's the Chief Goof Officer.
So you were a clown with the Ringling Brothers as well.
I did the Ringling. I lived on the circus train. That was a tremendous adventure. Learned a lot of lessons. Maybe I stepped in an awful lot of elephant poop. I might have a different level of immunity than some. I don't know. I mean, we don't know.
COVID didn't affect you because of it.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying that maybe they fed us bat soup on the show. I don't. Who knows?
You ate it.
Who knows what they were feeding us?
So explain what that's like. Whether it's Ringling Brothers and the other ones, what is that life like, and how long did you live it?
I did the 96, 97 tour. It was amazing. I mean, nobody speaks English except the management and the clowns. So everyone else is from all these different countries. So that was a refresher because I grew up in Cleveland, but I moved to a place, I call it Vanilla Hills, Kentucky. It's all white people there.
Yeah.
Vanilla Hills.
Yeah. Like literally at Vanilla Hills.
Or is it right next to Fort White and Edge White. Okay.
Where the hell is it really? Where is it?
I know. I spent 13 years in my first, growing up in Cleveland, but then the circus was cool because it was back to that crazy level of diversity. I mean, there was horseback troupe from Kazakhstan, these Chinese acrobats, Russians, Spanish wire walkers. It was
So why is this thing like Eastern European, Russian, Asian? Why?
Well, my thought is our country developed sports as our mass distraction, but every building in every city in the Soviet Union, over 50, 100,000 people had a circus ring, like a circus building. So they distract their folks with circus, and we spend our energy on sports and other things. So when the Soviet Union fell apart, all these amazing artists were out of work. So that's really Cirque du Soleil is kind of like a recycled all these Soviet circus acts.
Is that really what it is?
Mostly,
because isn't like a French term, Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah, Cirque du Soleil, Circus of the Sun. But our country wouldn't give them visas. And even Canada wasn't wild about it. But this guy, Guy Laliberté, he sold Cirque for $1 billion, which is not bad, not a bad hustle.
It's a little bit of change.
I mean, they're bankrupt now, though. I mean,
right? He got out. It was perfect.
He was smart. Yeah, he had an exit strategy. But really, Cirque du Soleil is kind of like recycled Russian acts with new age music and spandex and a fog machine. That's. But they did a lot for circus. I look at that as more performance art, really, than circus. But traditional circus is about butts and seats and selling popcorn.
Yep.
I mean, it's a $9 box of popcorn. The box costs 2 cents. The popcorn costs 1 cent. Nobody, nobody, Medellin, the Sackler family, nobody makes those margins.
None of them.
No.
So the circus was like our sports, to your point, right? So that was a way for them to draw them in, to give them some entertainment, and the operators to make some money.
And that's it. I mean, and that was really, and I learned a ton about media. Like in a 30-minute newscast, there was I don't know the stats anymore, but it was 8 minutes of commercials, 20 minutes of sports weather, and bleeds it leads, but you need 2 minutes of highly visual good news.
Where'd you learn that from?
From Ringling, because one of the reasons they had Clown College was every weatherman and weather gal would come and audition for Ringling Brothers Clown College. So about 3,000 people would apply. 30 people would get in, 10 people would get a job. So I was fortunate to I just dropped out of college, joined the circus.
So where was that passion from? So you were 10 of 3,000. You say lucky, but we could dig into that.
Yeah.
Right.
Lucky, but I didn't have the skills that people at Clown College, there was a guy riding a 6-foot unicycle juggling 5 balls. And I could barely juggle 3 balls, and I couldn't ride a unicycle, right?
So
it's just kind of how do we differentiate ourselves from that? person.
Was it kind of like today when they have America's Got Talent? Did it feel like that when you had to go interview and audition? And
yeah, well, no, we did show. I mean, it was 6 days a week. It was heavy duty. I mean, we had dance class every day. We had makeup class. We had circus history. It was just super immersive. And every Saturday night we would perform at the Sarasota Opera House, and that's where the Ringling's headquarters was. So
in Florida, Sarasota, Florida.
John Ringling, at the time he was the Jeff Bezos of the day. He was the richest dude in the world.
Yep.
And it's really like fascinating to be performing all the time. Be performing at Clown College and have the chance to then tour with the circus. And every city you're in, the clowns are the ones that are doing that 5 a.m. traffic spot, or at the studio or doing things. And it paid like nothing. It paid $237 a week. I got paid like nothing.
Were you like? Is it like the movie where you're like sleeping in the clown car?
Oh, I slept on the train. No, the train like
it was legitimately you slept on the train.
Legitimately, I lived on a circus train. Like Dumbo. You seen Dumbo?
Come on, man.
Like, yeah,
come on.
No,
you're gonna sell us this?
Hey, true stories. True stories. It was back in the 1900s, though. It was a long time ago.
It looks like it's that long ago.
Yeah, right.
So, but why you back to it? Why were you one of the 10 of 3,000? You're gonna give me some humble response, but why?
No, I caused a lot of trouble. Maybe not dead or in jail or in the circus, but like those. It was. I've been acting out for attention for a little while. Okay, so it's a good thing I found it. Good thing I found a calling to the circus, or I would be in probably some other trouble. See, because every clown, every Simpson episode, every Muppet Show, like clowns get in trouble. What's funny is watching them get out of trouble. I mean, that's Charlie Chaplin. I mean, that's every sitcom. That's so it's. I don't know. It's like
you were just living your life, man.
Well, it's great. I mean, it's nuts, but it was fun to do that on the circus train, and then graduated, got my degree. So I dropped out of college. Asked my girl to marry me, join the circus. I'm not married, college dropout. Go back to CCM, get my degree, but moved to New York City and had the auditions. Okay, so the casting directors, you two, the two casting directors, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, here we go. I'm gonna bounce this on my chin.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, it's a heavy one. All right, you ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
That's incredible. Okay, hey Mike, that's a first. I love it.
Show business, baby.
Show business, right.
So that was cool. So then I was on As the World Turns, All My Children, but I had actual lines on One Life to Live, so I got to say things like, "This one's on me," or maybe "Good to see you."
You felt great about it.
Under
too.
fives.
You felt great about it.
But I loved calling the dean at school, like, "Hey, turn on Channel 5. I got 3 lines today." By the way, all the good boys and girls who stayed in school, like they're bike messengers or they're waiting tables,
Yeah.
But I was in the union. I mean, I'll get a residual check this year for about 37 cents. But the shows are still on Soap Network, baby. Get those residuals.
Do you know when they're coming, or are you flipping through? Like, let me see if this is one of mine.
No. It was long. I got it on VHS somewhere,
In some box in the back of some warehouse on some project you've worked on.
Somewhere.
All right, man. Good.
Somewhere.
So do you have this story of, because I think we can track back so many businesses, even though being a clown, there's something entrepreneurial about that venture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so where did that story, you don't have to tell us about all the trouble, like all the stuff you could have been in, but did you believe you were going to be one of those 10, or were you potentially just willing to fail to then learn?
Well, I auditioned one year and I didn't get accepted, like my sophomore year in college. Like, I'm going to go be a clown. Be like, yeah, shut up, whatever, okay? Yeah. So that kind of fuels me, I mean, I went to Covenant Catholic, okay, right over there, and I'm a work-study kid. So every day after school, I had to paint for 2 hours after school. So I was like the designated painter. So, when I lived out of the circus train, I was saving my money. And my buddy Joel and Harry, like, we all kind of took turns cooking the food, or I'd make the food, saving some money up, and bought all this painting equipment when I got off the road. And you could lease a Toyota Tacoma for $79 back then. Gas was $1, Yeah. So I had a little pager, and I started the Paul's Painting Company because I didn't think I would I think the circus was cool, and I was going to try and, like, go to New York, do the thing, but I had to pay off some student loans and put some money in the bank, and bought all these ladders and sprayers and all this stuff, and then ended up getting a gig walking on stilts at the Grand Victoria Casino.
In Rising Sun, Indiana.
And it was like crazy. So,
right?
Yeah, and I was making two weeks of pay in one day.
So the passion was in there, man.
Well, it was fun. It was like,
right.
And you had this audience. You could only get on the boat every odd hour back then. All right. The boat had to sail, all that stuff. That's how they kind of tricked the Hoosiers into like getting gambling in their state. Well, they're not really going to gamble.
They're going to be on the river.
They're going to be on Lake Michigan and Gary or on the river. So just
having some entertainment.
Yeah. Right. But it would be great. There would be like, I don't know, 500 to 1,200 people in this big lobby waiting to get on the boat, just standing there. And I just walk around on stilts and harassing people.
This is your stage.
They were all, you had this audience. They were doing nothing. I called it the lucky tunnel. These sweet ladies would walk under through my legs, and I polished the bald guys' heads with, a little rag, did some hat tricks, threw a hat, caught a hat. I'd pull my pants up and say, hey, check stick of legs. You want to see them? And then there were just drywall stilts. And hey, can you help me? So the sweet little lady would like pull my pants down, and I would drop my drawers, and I had like silly bright polka dots. And this is when Clinton was in office. It was just funny. A lot of great stupid jokes, dropping the drawers for the old ladies. I mean, it was just a silly gig, but a lot of fun.
Did you know that you were refining skills and talent then? Did you know it because you were, right?
Yeah. No, I was taking that kind of apprenticeship thing, because the circus, you're really not paid much at all, but you're learning things. You're doing 14 shows a week. I drove the clown car. Which is
that the low level thing? Like if you're the new guy, it was big deal.
It was a big deal. I drive the clown car. There's like my kids are making a big deal about I don't know, SpaceX or the 2 astronauts going up. It's like, it's nothing. There's more people that have been in the International Space Station this year than have been driven the clown car for the Ringling Brothers.
Well, let's be honest,
your stats, kids. Astronauts or clowns. What are you gonna do?
Do all the clowns come out of the ground somewhere? Come on, man. Where are they all coming from?
Secret tunnel, man. No. It's an '86 Chevy Cavalier. There's only like a tank. You could only see out of like this much of it. And Caesar was this dwarf from Poland. He's a little guy. So I just had to sit on Caesar, and then we packed it in with like 14 clowns. It was
for real. And they get out with all their gear on. They're still looking good, right? How many times did you rehearse getting it out of the clown car, though?
Here's my partner.
Oh, I thought we were talking circus stuff. What do we have coming in here?
We got beer. Jenny's delivering beer. Thank you, Jenny.
How does beer? She can come in. So how does beer have anything to do with a circus?
Well, that's our concessions.
Wow. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Shark Bar in honor of the Ludlow Bromley Yacht Club.
Okay.
The Pie Fighter, that's me, sweet and dirty.
Okay.
Pie Fight, little circus act.
Uh-huh.
We got Motordrome, and the Juggalotes.
Okay.
Oh, the Insane Clown Posse, that's our ICP beer.
Okay.
And the Berliner Weiss, raspberry lime.
Ooh. Okay, so that's like something I would drink. I'm pretty wimpy.
No, man, please. Mike, jump on it, my man.
So thank you very much. So talk to, and we'll get back on some circus stuff because that's the fun in the but
thank you.
Thank you very much. She makes everything happen for you, doesn't she?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got an incredible team.
Yep. So beer and Bircus, am I saying that right?
Bircus, there you go.
Okay, so explain this thing to us on. So I'm a Northern Kentucky guy.
Gotcha.
From Boone County, and I hear about this thing and it's getting ready to open, and I'm like, Bircus, what?
We don't correct people. Bircus is fine, but that's what it looks like. It's my buddy in Belgium brews Bircus beer, and I met.
You gonna have one or is this?
Oh, please.
Which one?
I'll have a Pie Fighter. Nope, yellow one. Okay. Yep, beautiful. Okay. What you got?
He's gonna have one with us. Which one you want? Same thing. Huh? Same thing.
So my buddy in Belgium. Oh, here, let me get a nice little.
Oh, does it taste as good as it sounds?
Tastes good. Cheers. Salantia.
Okay. All right. To the amazing. What is it again? It's not the circus entrepreneur. It's the what? What is your name?
A chief goof officer.
Chief goof officer.
To goofing off. To goofing off.
Isn't that the best in life when you can live a great life and have a job and goof off?
It's great. I mean, it's neat. I was staying at the really cool anarchist hostel in Berlin, and if you ever go to Berlin, don't stay at the Marriott. Okay, seek me out. It's a neat spot to be. But there's a guy there who brews Bircus beer to fund his circus project. So he's in Belgium. So Ghent, Belgium's a lot like the 275 loop. Okay, so Cincinnati would be the Wallonians. That's the kind of the Dutch, German, like power side. The Francophones, that would be the Northern Kentucky. But the Wallonians or the Flemish would be the Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Like, it's in the loop. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, kind of.
One exit.
Do we claim them?
No, yeah, we know. But that's a lot like that's the geopolitics of Belgium. Okay. So it's just like the 275 loop.
Okay.
So I met him in 2010, and 2015 started kind of the concept and the idea. 2016, we're the first brewery in the United States to register under regulation A+, so we could have non-accredited investors. So it took me 2 years to raise the money, $1,000 at a time, but we've got 130 investors. And
that's huge.
It's cool,
right?
Right? And
$130,000.
No, it's my biggest guy's in for like 70 large, which is
that's
awesome.
large.
But it was neat because the state of Kentucky, I had to apply a couple times, and that's fine. Once I'm like, hey, Braxton got the angel investor tax credit. I want to get. How about me? No. Submit it again. I submitted again. No. And I was like, okay, well, what do we got to do here? Finally, we got it. We got the angel investor.
Is that what the A+ is? The angel investor?
No, A+ means it's for it's for non-accredited investors.
So an accredited investor is like over 250 net worth, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, you got to have $1 million in net worth to be considered an accredited investor.
Right.
And the SEC's looking out for you to make sure that nobody's going to like take anything away or whatever. It's not.
It could affect your life if you lose the money.
Yeah.
So it's a way for the average Joe to get involved in something really cool.
That's the goal, and it was part of the whole Jobs Act, like coming out of 2009, when everything was just falling apart.
Dude,
that was one of the things they did because they wanted the kind of everyman to have access to investing, because you can't invest in Facebook, or you couldn't invest in.
We don't have access to those people in those conversations.
No.
Like Gary V may, because he's buddies with Zuckerberg.
Right.
We're not. I'm sorry. You're at the wrong place if you think we're sitting here with Zuckerberg.
Absolutely.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
But it was cool because we have put this thing together. So the first year we just made beer through distribution. I learned a lot on that angle. I mean, that's tough, and we can't compete with the heavy duties.
Yep.
Then second year we opened a little 25-seat tasting room. So that was about 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago we opened the theater,
which is cool.
Which is neat. So it's been like a long process, but this is probably like the fifth or sixth time we've brewed the Pie Fighter, the Pilsner.
Yep.
That one you're drinking there, the Reguliner, that's a Berliner Weiss, kind of German, but a sour. Everybody's got to have a sour these days,
Right. So this, you have an analogy, the Cowboys versus the Packers.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So explain that to us.
All right. Well,
for sports fans.
Well, the Packers are actually owned by their community. Okay. And I don't know how the NFL got away being a not-for-profit anyway, because clearly, these guys know what they're doing.
They're making money.
Okay? Clearly. But the Packers are owned by their community, and that's why they'll never leave Green Bay. It's a super small market, but they're able to do things because there's this critical mass, and everybody wins. I've never been to a game there, but I guess people park in front yards, and everybody in the whole community makes money, and the Dallas Cowboys, that one guy owns that.
So I bet those fans feel like they own that team, because some of them do.
Some of them do,
right?
Yeah.
And they really feel that. And I bet because of that, everyone feels like they own it.
And that's what it's funny because most of our investors are from Ohio, and they don't know Ludlow from Fort Mitchell or Union. I mean, Kentucky's Kentucky in that situation. And for $1,000, they could own a piece of the Bircus Brewing Company. And, people know people, oh, my guy got into Rhine guys. This guy was into Mad Tree,
Yep.
So it's, it's just something, and it's something so unique, but I tell everybody, we're actually doing a little better this year than we did last year. So our numbers are up.
Cheers,
to that,
right?
huh?
Yeah, man. Hey.
So I tell our investors, you should definitely have like a anarchist clown in your portfolio. Okay, you could have all the Bitcoin and silver bullion you want. Your rare bourbon's fine, but you're not truly diversified unless you have a little bit of asymmetrical circus in your portfolio.
I love that. So this had to be something that was inside of you. This Packers versus Cowboys analogy. I'm looking at a guy like you and talking to you, and you didn't create that for an angle on business. You felt that.
Yeah. No, and it just goes back to seeing the hustle of the circus and realizing I was making about $3 an hour, but these guys who were amazing teeterboard act from Russia. So this guy was strapped into one 6-foot stilt. He was on a teeterboard, and he would fly in the air and do a triple backflip and land that on one stilt. Okay? And he was making 50,000 rubles, but about $50 a week. He was making nothing, And it was like, wow, it was seeing that top down. Even the wire walkers, these amazing guys, the Kiros, no net, 30 feet in the air, they would jump here's 3 guys. One guy Miguel would jump over 3 people and land on the tight wire. No net, no other. And they're making $1,000 a week. I mean, it was crazy, just absolutely crazy. So I wanted to try and create some wealth and do something special and create something neat for our community in Ludlow. So I've got some people in Ludlow who are invested, which is neat.
That's neat.
And it's cool because customers come. Some of the investors I hardly ever see them, but they read the email digest. Hey, good job, Paul. Good work. It's one of these things where canning was never something I wanted to do. I didn't want to can, but this year forced us to get into the canning situation. So we're contract canning right now. So
what's that mean?
We have to bring in a group from out of town that's expensive, and we have to get 4 of our giant bright tanks full of beer, so it's efficient. But I want to get our own canning line. It's just something we got to work to raise the capital and put the plan. But now we know it. All right, we can do. We've done it 5 times this year. When we get our own canning line, it'll drop the price from about it's about $1.20 a can,
down
to about 65, 70 cents something. So
you've got to find a way then.
We will.
Right.
It's just a thing of all right, where do we? I'm so glad I didn't rent a tent. I was gonna be the weather was great. But I was man, all right, I had a tent. It was gonna be $5,000 to rent a tent. I was man, that's I don't know. It's just such a weird time right now to be making decisions. But we've got a really great team. So a lot of it is by design. Hey, what do we think about this? But the buck stops with me ultimately.
Yep. So it's a weird time just because of 2020 and COVID times. That's what we're speaking to, right?
Yeah.
And so what's your attitude about growth, continued investment, move forward versus sit back and let's see what this thing's going to give us?
We at the end of last year, we closed on this almost 2 acres in Ludlow, and it's in the Opportunity Zone. So it's cool. It's the
new Bircus Event Center.
Yeah. So that is this whole year it's just kind of been patiently working with with the legal group. Our Shannon Smith's my lawyer. She's great law office in Covington, and she's been working with me. She got me open in a little tasting room. So it's just applying for planning and development service. Getting the zoning changed. We got one more. I got one more reading. So
that's it.
So and it's all right. And I just want to make sure that it's done right. That we get the plans, and I'm going to put that building on the National Historic Registry.
Yep.
It was built in 1915, and it's cool because I got the theater on the National Historic Registry, and it took me 7 years to do it.
Yep.
And down in Frankfurt, man, this clown, he's not going to back down. It's funny because now I'm
now
hey,
they know.
Well, it's funny. He's hey, it'll take him a little bit, but we opened this pizzeria.
Those
about a month
pizzas
ago.
look amazing, by the way.
Oh, the pizzas,
I've checked out the website. $14-15, and it looks like a brick oven incredible pizza.
It is. The pizza's incredible. So my buddy Michael Cusimano, he's a chef. He's been cooking in Italy for 25 years. We went to school together. He's from New Jersey. I'm from Cleveland. We played soccer together, skateboarded. We hung out in grade school. And he's the head chef of the JW Marriott Resort in Venice, where you only get there by boat. Okay, so this thing is you're talking top 10 restaurants in Venice, okay?
Yeah.
Silly stuff.
It's probably not a place that I'm going to.
No,
I'd love to. If Bircus wants to sponsor me or something. But
we'll see. We'll see what. But it just can't really happenstance because when this restaurant group owns a place in D.C. and a couple places in Miami, so when Italy shut down, they sent him to D.C. to work in March, and then when D.C. shut down, they sent him to Miami, and then he flew up just for a couple days to check it out. And I'm hey. Here's this event center. We're gonna do weddings. We need great food. And I was I'll build a pizza oven. Come and start a little pizzeria. He's Paul, pizza's the lowest. I'm an Italian. It's it's me twisting balloons at a birthday party. Okay, whatever. I'm not above. I'll do it.
Somebody called you.
Hey, I'm not above it. I've done it. I got a wife and kids to feed. So I'll do it. But
he's this is a little boring.
No, he loved it. It was neat but he flew in, and how things happen. And we had a plumbing permit open 2 years. So it took a while to get, but I didn't want to open the kitchen until I had somebody to do it. So he gets here on a Monday. Tuesday, we pass our plumbing inspection. Wednesday, we snap up a bunch of used restaurant equipment. Thursday, the government shuts us down. Shuts everything for 3 weeks.
Everything.
And I'm calling the health department. I'm listen, we just passed our plumbing deal. Please come and inspect us. We'll mask, we'll distance, we'll do everything. And they've inspected us every year, and we get really top scores on our health department. Anyway, so I got a good relationship with the inspector and stuff. But I'm I know it's closed, but we'll do beer and pizza to go. Just don't. So they showed up by noon, they showed up at 11:30. We passed at noon. I'm like, all right. We went to the chef's warehouse, got this big, gorgeous ribeye. We did steak night that night. And it was the first time we made more money on food than beer.
Did you put this together? When steak night? When did you tell the community steak night was happening?
Just that night, because I didn't know whether we were gonna, it was.
So how many people came out for that?
We sold about
50,
20. We sold about 20 steaks.
Okay,
20 steak for two. Because they were big fat. Because the oven, we built the oven. My kids and I and this gentleman Justice. He moved here from Egypt. He's from Louisiana, but he lives in Bromley. His wife's Egyptian. Their 3 kids are. And he's like, hey, let's build an oven. I'm like, excellent. So over Father's Day weekend, we built this oven. And I was like, and that's what's so neat. It's like Michael was like, in the springtime, he's like, yeah, sure, build the oven. We'll do it. I had my kids, they're 13 and 15, so I had them take all of the concrete. It was like 1 foot squares by 8 inches, 6 inches. They had to pull them up out of the ground, bust them with a sledgehammer.
How'd they like that, Dad?
Oh, they love. I look at their phone. I'm like, all right, screen time. What you got? You got 2 hours a day. All right, you owe me 2 hours Sunday. We just back it up.
They know what they're dealing with.
That's the deal. That's the deal. So, but they did a hell of a job making the oven.
And over Father's Day weekend.
It gets to 1,200 degrees, 1,300 degrees, just a wood-fired oven. Takes about 2 hours to get it heated up, but it's an old Jesus oven. I mean, it's just old. Wow. It's funny. So Ryan Fardo, our plant manager, designer, he's extraordinary. He designs these logos. He does all the stuff working with us. He built this really cool kind of shelter for the oven, and it looks a lot like a manger. And Hope and Lucas, those are my kids, like, Dad, that looks like the manger. I'm like, you know what, kids? We're going to do like a little living nativity down here at Ludlow. The governor's not going to shut down living nativity. So we'll just sell some beer. And I had
So you're a marketing genius,
much,
right? Come on. You come up with this stuff.
It was funny. Hope's 15. She's like, no, I'm not, Dad. I'm like, yes, you are. We're not doing it. It was so much fun.
Put Mary stuff on. We're doing this, right? So those pizzas came from that. So the picture I saw online, I'm like, that pizza looks killer.
It is killer. I mean, it's all like it's Italian flour. I mean, it's super authentic. I mean, our prosciutto comes from Parma, Italy, and it's just a neat. It's not your La Rosa's, we got a little Domino's down the road, but it's
not hot and ready to go. Little Caesars.
But it takes about 5 minutes. Get the order, stretch it, cook it. You put it in the oven for about a minute and a half. You spin it. You take it out, you cut it, you drop it.
You spin on one of those little cool boards, they put it in, spin it around.
Oh, yeah, because it's hot,
So when things open back up at some point, vaccines, COVID, all that, will there be, because it's to go right now, right? Or can you eat it at a table?
Now we're allowed. We're actually, let's see.
December
Last
15th.
week we were allowed to reopen.
Yep.
So we had a great, people coming out for the pizza, and we do juggling class on Wednesday nights. So that's like $20 gets you a beer and a juggling lesson for an hour, which is cool.
How cool is that?
Tuesday, so we're showing movies. It's a Wonderful Life is on Sundays for December. So
you're pulling at heartstrings on us now. Good. Here,
Yeah, well,
right?
It's people and
$20.
The space is big enough. Like 364 is our normal capacity.
Okay.
So we've been operating at 100 people, a third of capacity, just to social distance, and take the temperature, do the math, do all the stuff, and it's because our even at one point we had I think we were at a third of capacity, but that was fine. Like the government outlined it. We had this great band, Positive Reaction. Okay. This reggae band, man. Like these dudes got dreads, drag the ground. I mean, it was
straight up real reggae. These guys weren't. It wasn't
legit. Like 4 dudes in like Bermuda shorts. Like no, these are come on, man.
Yes, right.
So
the colors, everything.
And it was for me. It was so cool because half the crowd was black and half the crowd was white, and everybody was enjoying reggae. So. It's just a neat thing to. But even when the government said, you're only allowed to have 100 people, we had 85 there that night, and it was cool. And people paid to get in. The band made a little bit of money. We're not selling beer like we used to, but we're selling beer to go now too. So people come, oh man, that beer's great. Let me get 4-pack to go. So it's neat that the average, we've tripled our per customer spend over last year.
That's incredible. And so that's where probably the growth and the improvement in revenue came from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because we're having, we can have a third or a third of the half of the people, but when Wendy's ran out of beef, like, where's the beef? This really happened.
It happened.
They did. They really, right?
Yeah. And then the salad, you couldn't get, you go through Chick-fil-A or something, it's like, well, we don't have any lettuce.
Yep. So, we're, first world country over here. But I went around and bought 800 frozen corn dogs. Okay, I stocked,
where the heck did you do that?
Man, I everywhere. I went to
Costco,
Restaurant
Sam's.
Depot. Yeah, everybody.
Okay, a lot of commercial places.
Yeah, but and then ordered them to come in. So when the government said we had to shut down, bars weren't allowed to open and breweries till July 1.
Okay.
But May 21, we opened up our beer garden outside because we had like a restaurant. We had a food permit with the health department. And so we did corn dogs, smoked corn dogs. You take a frozen corn dog, smoke it for 45 minutes.
And now it's a smoked corn dog.
That's a smoked corn dog, and we'd smoke kosher, gluten-free Hebrew national wieners and just put them on a stick, no bun. So
that's it.
And then we had ears of corn grilled in the husk. So we had dogless corn, cornless dog, and corn dogs. We had 3 things on the menu. Vegans could have it. Vegetarian, you get the little piece of butter with it. But everything was individually wrapped and packaged, and we killed it. So that like people would come and they get 3 beers, and a corn dog cost 38 cents. It was a neat.
It was cool to go through.
It was neat. That was a gimmick for a little while. And then. Now the pizza's not a gimmick.
No.
The pizza's real.
Legit.
It's so good, and people are coming in, and I love it because there's such a resurgence of the community of Ludlow, and there's all these new people moving in, and people just walk down. You can get a bottle of rum or bourbon from Second Sights across the street. You get your 4 or 5 pizzas, feed your family, take some beer. It's a neat little place to be. So it's exciting.
Yeah. So this is, what does an average night look at the Circus and the brewery combined? What's it look like? And can you expect, are there normal hours, normal nights?
Yeah, we're going to reset in 2021, like January. It's neat. I'm going to paint a pickleball court in there, and we're going to open up for pickleball a couple days.
Yeah.
Because people are super into I don't know much about pickleball. But
I didn't know until one of our agents the other day was like, Mark, you know anything about pickleball? I thought it was like when I was growing up, you stand on 2 bases and you throw like a tennis ball back and forth. I thought that. And he went, no. He said, my cousin just bought a house in Fort Mitchell, and Jason Yeager, who owns Ashley Development, right? He said he has a pickleball court in his backyard.
Yeah.
And I went, what?
Yeah.
A what? So explain pickleball to us a little bit.
I never played. I don't know much about it. It's a big rage, there's apparently a couple-hour wait to play down at Sawyer Point. They've some courts there. 5 Seasons is converting a lot of their tennis courts to pickleball. It's a lot easier on your joint. It's fun, but it's like 20 by 40 court, and it's kind of like badminton meets tennis meets ping pong, kind of.
And we've got a ping pong table. We can do this when we're done. So is it a paddle? It's a
paddle. It's a paddle.
And what type of ball?
It's like a wiffle ball, like a harder wiffle ball.
And it can't hit the ground. Is that it, or it does?
No, it hits the ground. I don't know. It can't bounce twice, whatever.
So you're building one?
Yeah, because there's a couple-hour wait to play everywhere else, and it's going to be cold, miserable, and lousy.
Yeah.
And I think Wednesdays and Thursdays we're going to open up at 6 a.m., and we're going to do pickleball all day and do breakfast and do lunch and dinner. And,
Mike, this sounds like an outing. It sounds like a pickleball outing.
Every day we're not using the space is silly. My dad built us a great tree fort. He built us a great swing set. And then we get this, sandbox. It was a really cool rowboat. And my dad's like, all right, kids. And my little brother says, here's the sandbox. If you don't play in the sandbox every day, the cats are going to come and poop in it. Okay? So you got to play in the sandbox. We went away to vacation, Ocean City, Maryland. He came back a week later. He's like, here, this is the poop. Don't play with the poop, And then he'd, pop quiz us later. Hey, go clean out that poop and play in that sandbox tomorrow. You got, it was a great, we had no cable. It was fun. It was go play. And it was fun to be so I look at the theater, it's our big sandbox, so we do bicycle polo, 2-on-2 bike polo, which is another crazy sport. But these mountain bike guys who live in Ludlow, that's how they stay in shape over the winter. So it's like horse polo. If you can't have your feet can't touch the ground. You got to keep them on the pedals. And if you're really good, they just play with a little cone. But it's the mallets, and if you do touch, you have to go and ride the bike to the center and smack your mallet twice, and whatever. It's a crazy sport.
What?
Yeah.
Are they flying off and getting hurt? Or are they wearing helmets?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them wear helmets. They're super punk rock.
Yeah, it's like some roller derby stuff or something on a bike.
It is roller. It is, and so people would come on Sunday. All right, everybody. Time.
We don't need WWF. Let's go down to Bircus.
They go up and they sit on the balcony because it's where the old projector sat, and then it was a factory, so we call it the Mach 3 mezzanine. It was a Mach 3 clutch company, so we took the shelves out and added a railing so people could sit up there and watch. So but we've done wrestling. We've done years of wrestling. I mean, and the wrestlers love it because usually they're at the like Chevois VFW hall or something
with some chairs below the ring and all that.
Lousy lights, low ceiling. At the Ludlow Theater, they're like, it's Madison Square Garden, because people are sitting everywhere.
Put bright lights on. They can't tell how many people aren't watching.
It's packed. No, we
pack it.
It was hilarious. So Roger, the guy in charge of it, we've been doing this for years together. The first time, there were like these 6 kids sitting in lawn chairs across the street watching the wrestling, and they could see it right through the window, and it was perfect. And he's like, man, those kids, they got to pay. So we put a big wrestling mat in front of the window. I'm like, Roger.
Come on, man.
I said, this is
let him look through the window.
Well, I said, this is the first time we're working together, but I'm going to tell you how this is going to play out, Roger. I'm not going to touch your mat. You're going to drop the mat. I'm going to go get 6 bags of popcorn. I'm going to go give him some free popcorn. And for the next 2 or 3 hours, everyone driving down Route 8 is going to think, what the hell are those dudes sitting? This was before the marquee was on the building, right? So it's just a cool.
So where'd your mind come from? So to know to do that in that moment, what is that? What's that thing inside of Paul Miller that
I think people get frustrated. I mean, I got a big well of patience, but people want conflict more than they want solutions, and it really is. One of these guys, Rick's his name, and he's an old scrapper. He's a Marine. He's a hell of a dude. He's one of our investors, too. So he's one of my roustabouts. Like, you got to load the circus train or go get wood. Like, he's a badass.
He's there.
Yeah, he's like, so I did time in jail when Ludlow had a jail. I'm like, all right, I want you on my team, dude. So, like, I want to. But so him and his girl were climbing in the dumpster. Well, I'll rewind a second.
Mike, did you vet this well enough? Did you know we were going about climbing in dumpsters? Did you know this?
Huh?
No, but this is hilarious.
Okay, all right. Well,
there we go.
I'll rewind a second. So we bought this building, and the Ludlow fire chief was like, Kenny Wims. He's like, boy, what you doing here? I said, I'm bringing the circus. No. He came back the next day and was like, how can we help? And I said, well, I got a bid for $25,000 to, do some demo, $60,000 for a new roof, blah, 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 blah. And they said, well, we'll do all your demo. We'll call it breaching walls, pulling ceilings, search and rescue. So I was like, hell yeah. So we, my lawyer worked together. We wrote an agreement. I was paying for dumpsters. We named each other additionally insured. They did a phase 1 environmental to make sure no one was getting sick. And so it was awesome. So the Ludlow Fire Department, it's a public-private partnership at work, okay? Right. So Ludlow Fire Department, they do all the demo. The first day, and Rick and his girl are climbing the dumpster getting all the steel out because he's a scrapper. So there's almost this fist fight between the fire chief and Rick the Scrap Man. And I don't really know either of these guys
if
very well.
Copper would have been involved, it would have been really bad.
It was bad. So I kind of get between them. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. We're going to practice a little circus diplomacy here, okay? Fire department, there's 30 of you. For some reason, you all like to smoke a lot. So why don't you take a break at 11 and 3. Old man and your girl, you got 11 to 11:20 and 3 to 3:20. You get all the metal, all steel you want. I'm saving money. On the dumpsters, I'll get fewer dumpsters. We took the steel out of Mother Earth. I don't think we should put it back into Mother Earth. Everybody wins, okay? But they still kind of paced off for a few minutes because they want a conflict. And the fire department was there on Saturday and they're on Wednesday nights. By Wednesday night, the fire department's throwing all the steel over in the corner for Rick, and they're like totally simpatico. But it's usually people want that conflict. They want to be.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? I mean, had you ever felt it in your life, or is it something you just naturally you just never had that inside of you?
I certainly didn't get along with my little brother often. My parents and I rocked that boat hard, but I just think it's I don't know. I don't know why.
You're just like peace, man.
You're
like, hey, man, we don't have to do it that way.
I got in big trouble when I was at Gulf War #1. I had a big old sideburns, and I was a big hippie. So we organized this big giant rally on Fountain Square. Like, we skipped school. My buddy Damon and I and his older brother, they went to St. Xavier High School. So we got the permit. We did this huge demonstration there, and this guy Reverend Maurice McCracken, this guy was a super nut, pacifist. He climbed the White House fence through red dye in the fountain at the White House.
You're talking about the White House. Washington D.C.
Yeah. Now you'd be like, this is what 80 or this is 92.
They might let you just walk up and hang out then.
Well, this was a long time, but so he went on a hunger strike. He gets out of jail. He comes and speaks at our rally, which was huge. But his handlers, that guy and that guy, they're with the feds. They're going to unplug this. So if you build, so we did this huge thing, and it was on the news with Peter Jennings, and my dad was really pissed. But yeah, I'm a pacifist, but I like to be a showman about it, right? Like I want to be. I mean, that's his beer I'm drinking, the Pie Fighter. You know, it's like don't mess with the clown. It's sweet and dirty, babe.
Yep.
Pie fighting. So that's
the
what
irregular, right?
Yeah, that's the irregular. You know, that's a little bit irregular about that. So you know, it's like that's what I want. It's sweet and dirty. You know, I'm not going to fight you as you want to be.
Are you the antagonist to be an antagonist, or is there principle behind it?
Well, it's principled. I mean, I've certainly had my ups and downs with different, you know, political factions in town and out of town or whatever. But working towards solutions and 100%. Pie fighting. That's my motto right there.
So that's why that's the one you're drinking, right?
Yeah, it's my favorite. My brewer Sean, he's like, the Pilsner. We're calling it the Pie Fighter, Paul. I'm like, hell yeah, that's a great name, man.
So back to the brewery. Is it open 7 days a week?
We are
in the theater and all that.
We'll be open. We'll be open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push hard on doing movies down there on like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and try and get like local filmmakers to show their movies at the theater.
Something like Harry, like Harvey, like Son.
Yep.
Right. That one that was local. That was big. Right.
So they showed that movie with us.
All right.
And Trimpy put it together. I mean, it was awesome. It was a great night. You know, and then Wednesday we've got like vinyl night and circus night. Thursday is open mic night, so people can try out their stand up, which is cool though. So some of the circus performers, that's how they workshop their act. If they're creating a new act, they do it on open mic night, and if that's on Thursday, if it goes great, they send me a video, and then they do it with the live band. So usually on Friday and Saturdays, it's live music, and Sunday brunch. Our brunch is like Argetta pizza, baby. Oh, it's ricotta, roasted pep,
What's up
roasted
with this
red pepper.
Geta thing? Listen, if anybody outside of Cincinnati listens to this thing, what the hell is up with Geta?
You know, it's
right. What is it? Let's be honest. Like, what is it? Is it scraped off the floor? I mean, what is it?
Not ours. So we get ours at Finky's, baby. You know, I mean, it's pork and it's beef and it's oatmeal, and they smush it all. I'm not from around these parts. You know, I don't get the Cincinnati chili thing, but it crisps real nice. It's funky. We do an egg on our pizza too. We do a bacon and egg pizza with an egg, which is an old Italian way. But you know, we're serving it to people for brunch, and they're like, "What the hell's this?" You know, it's a fun.
Right.
Why'd you cut it? Well, here we give you a fork and a knife. That's how they serve in Italy. I'm not going to cut across your yolk. I don't know if you want to dip it. Like I don't want to. So we're educating our customer base, but.
Is it your goal to use this brilliant mind to educate everyone? Because I'm sitting here like, man, this guy's got it, man. When it comes to marketing, like he knows to go to the guy who's trying to put up the mat in front of the window, who's used to defending every $3.50.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man. Like, here's what we're going to do.
Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah, because Pete, it's not about those guys. It's about everybody that's going to drive down the street and see them.
And I said, Roger, these kids, they're going to check every couch cushion. They're going to rake leaves. They're going to save up the money. They're going to buy the pre-sale because it's $8 pre-sale, $10 at the door. And I was like, you watch. They will plan, execute when they know, you know, when you announce when wrestling is going to be again and you put up some posters, those kids will be here. And it's cool because that's what happened. You know, and why tell them no, they can't do it? Like I look at it nose like not yet. You know, it's impossible. You'll never make a brewery. A circus in Ludlow, it'll never happen. That's why you go to the circus. You go to the circus to see somebody get shot out of a cannon, get in a cage with a lion, walk a tight wire. So like that.
Do we have lions at Bircus?
No. I got enough people to feed. I got a lot of payroll. I got my kids. Animals. I'll tell you though, they treat the animals much better than they treat the people. All right,
do they?
You don't see.
It's like that's where we're making our money.
You don't see people for the ethical treatment of people out there protesting, do you?
Because it's not there.
No,
right?
No, it's like
right.
So
so what do you guys this Bircus thing, and now it's going into this event center that you're going to launch.
Yep.
So, where's it end? Does it end? Is it always growth? Is it always entrepreneurial?
Well, it's really learning. So I had a 3-unit in Chicago I sold, and I had a pretty big capital gain, and I didn't pay the tax on that. I just kind of rolled it into the business because I was like, I didn't need the dough. I needed to like cash out that real estate hustle and put it into Ludlow.
Did you do a 1031?
No, I didn't, because I already bought the theater. I couldn't buy anything else. I had to sustain what I had.
We love tax accountants.
Oh man, my account man is great.
Do we need to plug her or just leave it alone?
No, Whitney Stith. Man, I got audited by the IRS.
Yeah.
And we like took him. We just smacked him down.
Did you get money back?
No, I didn't.
Because that would have been the best.
It was. But they're so smart. So
who is this again?
Whitney Stith.
That's
he's
the
out
firm?
of Boone County.
Okay.
Yep. Stith, Wimsett and Associates.
Okay, there you go. You got
great guys. So they set up. I set up the same guy. I did a lot of learning because I I was on a payment plan with the IRS, boom, 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 boom. They worked with me for the whole new net operating laws carried forward, all that stuff. I mean, they're smart people. So
really smart.
Super, and you got to have those smart people around you. So, but they had to do all this stuff for the Reg A too, and they had not heard what the Reg A, like the SEC, like my Graydon was my SEC
Graydon
firm,
had, yep,
so
yep.
Graydon was like they hadn't heard about it either, so
it's like, dude, come on, guys,
come on,
like figure this out.
We'll be the first, and we did. So the opportunity zone, like I learned, man, this is the way to go. So you can roll all your capital gains, you don't have to pay them, and you can plug it into real estate.
That's in an opportunity zone.
It's in a zone.
Yep.
And I was at the meeting when they kind of unveiled where the opportunity zones were, and it's basically like, because Bevan put them together. So there's a couple blocks in Newport, not much, but it's the whole Licking River, all of Covington, all the way to the railroad tracks in Ludlow.
Okay.
And I was like, man, why not do all of Ludlow? Like, we need it in downtown Ludlow.
100, and even in a Bromley, if we're talking about it, right?
All the way. I mean, absolutely. So the map was already set. This building came up for sale. It's 2 acres. It's got a view. It has river access. I mean, it's incredible.
It's pretty. If you go to Bircus.com
Yep.
and you see some of the videos on there, there's a YouTube video of it. It's on Vimeo, I think.
Vimeo, right.
And so I was
flyover.
like, it's like, all right, I see what they're doing.
No, it's
right.
So,
most people are like, what are you doing with this?
Yes, and it was and it was a. I mean, so we started at the theater. That's where we're going to train. That's where we're going to make beer. There's after distributing for 3 years and trying to play that game, there's no money there for what I want to do. I mean, if you're giant, you want to be. But anyway, everybody's got a different strategy. I looked at this event center like, for a wedding, a couple can come and make their own custom beer, have their beer on draft at their wedding. Everybody will go home with a 4-pack of beers with your engagement photo, your family tree. So like you get a little piece of, wedding cake wrapped in a napkin and a 4-pack of beer. So like that is so exciting. So the view's fantastic. Michael, our chef, we got an incredible food. So really, it's more about like the experience. So that's what I want Bircus to become. I'm going to build one of these in Opportunity Zone, like in Chattanooga.
Yep. So I'm saying, where's this thing go? Does it continue?
I'm going to do one in Chattanooga. I'm going to do one in Savannah. And I'm going to do one either like Charleston, West Virginia, or Wheeling, West Virginia, or maybe Maryland. Something. And basically, we're going to have like a diamond. There's going to be 4 of them. And what we're going to be able to do then is have like an old vaudeville circuit almost. Okay, so it's
like the Comedy Store stuff.
Yep.
But with the circus and what you're doing, man.
Well, and it's neat because every town has a Ludlow.
Yep.
Every Ludlow has a movie theater or an industrial building or a church that they have no idea what to do with.
Yep.
And so we have a church there where I'm building this like circus school. It's going to be like a vocational training center, for people, because I do a lot. My favorite
Ludlow?
thing in Ludlow
is to train the circus, right? Right? Is that your thing?
I do a lot of work with kids in jail.
Okay.
And I say, if you're good at stealing cars, you're perfect for the circus. You're focused and you're fearless. And I got in this great debate with a very wealthy gentleman about structurally, like the only way to solve Social Security is to create more taxpayers. It's the only way to do it. And if we could take a kid in jail, it costs $60,000 to keep a kid locked up at Hillcrest at the Hamilton County Juvenile Detention Center.
Yeah, every year.
And they get all their teeth fixed. It's crazy. Like they're learning. So I pitched it to them. I secured some funding, and we did 5-6 week programs training the kids in jail how to do circus.
You know what I bet, man? I haven't been there. I haven't done it, right? I can't even feel what that felt like. I bet that is the most impact anybody made in those kids' lives, maybe ever.
What was so neat about that deal, though, was we had 18 ladies in wheelchairs from Catholic Charities. Okay, so I teach circus. Like everywhere, anybody. Like if I could someday, that's what I'll do. But we had started with 8 ladies in wheelchairs. Some of them had stroke victims. They could only move one, their right arm. So we teach them to spin a plate with that arm, hat tricks, juggle scarves, and all of a sudden, people wanted to hang out with them. Their nephews, nieces, and nephews. Well, look, Aunt Betty could do something. So
that's the most the ladies in a wheelchair had anybody want to hang out with them forever.
Well, and the thing is, and the activities director, usually they go like bumper bowling and play bingo. Like if you're in a wheelchair,
that's your option.
That you got this, what you do. So we did circus with them, and it was great. The final day of class, I'm like, they all know Lucille Ball and the pie fight, so we're gonna have a pie fight. Back to my pie fight. And
what's the next one I should try? We're gonna get back on pie fighting. What's the next one? I don't care.
Do you like IPA? Here, try this one.
Let's try it. Okay.
Try the Shark Bar.
Okay.
So it's crazy. So we did a big pie fight in their final day. Yeah, crack that. There it is.
Oh, that smells good. It smells like chocolatey or something.
It is. It's a red stout, cocoa nibs, and a little.
That's good, Paul Miller.
Babe. Oh,
Woo!
Sean Greger, he's our brewer. He gets it done. The Shark Bar.
Wow.
So Sean dropped out of college his senior year to be our brewmaster. He was 21 and 2 months old.
How did you convince him to do that?
Well, his family owns a big giant brewery, and he really knows his stuff. And
This is good.
And I said, hey, here's the deal. You make I'm never going to argue with you about a yeast strain, a hop choice. I don't know anything about making beer.
Yep.
I got these tanks.
That's what he wants.
knock-
Like, give me the platform.
I said, knock it out, dude. I haven't missed payroll.
Kudos to him.
Oh, man, it's great.
So pie fighting Lucille Ball.
So I gave it to all the ladies, and we gave them like one here. I'll take my hat. You gave them all a pie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then they're in wheelchairs, so they're kind of going around. I'm gonna get you, Betty. I'm gonna get you. They couldn't. It was hilarious. God, if I wish I had a phone. I mean, this is a long time ago. I have a video camera in my pocket then, but it was stupid. It was absolutely stupid. So much fun.
Yeah.
And that class.
We can leave them off if you want.
Oh yeah. Is that all right? I think
If you want to.
No.
You good?
No. I
right.
feel cool with mine.
Yeah.
It's my costume.
It feels good.
It looks like my clown nose, You're just podcast time. But what's neat is that 8 ladies turned into 18. They all had friends with Catholic charities. And I said, well, I'm going to give these guys fresh out of jail. They're going to be my apprentices. And Catholic charities said, well, you can't do that with our people. And I said, what would Jesus do? Would Jesus want you working with these people? And
You would not do that to them.
Oh, it's good.
You didn't do that to
Oh,
them.
it's so funny. Then they're like, well, if they're sex, what were they in for? If they're sex offenders, our insurance won't cover it. And I'm like, y'all, you're about 2,000 years too late on that one, Catholic Church, And then they hung up on me. Okay,
Straight up.
straight up. I called them back a couple days later. I apologized. I said,
so sorry. I
I'm a
should've
New
said that.
Testament fundamentalist. I'm turning the other cheek, baby. Smack me on both is fine. However you want to do it. But I said, you're right. I will talk to the judge, work with their PO. I'll black out their names, but they're going to be around my kids and my family and my performers. I should know what they're in for. So, good. You bring a salient point, Catholic Charities. Thank you. Give me a second. So 2 weeks later, I get it to them. And they're like, all right, we can do it. So these kids, most of them Bond Hill area, took the bus. Sharon, who's a great aerialist from Mexico, she worked with me for like 6 years. So Sharon, I dropped her off. She taught these 3 dudes how to take the bus, transferred the number 3 bus. They'd never been to Kentucky. I mean, they're
like, what the hell's it?
Yeah. It was,
Sound like the country?
No,
Huh?
it was-
Does that sound like something Mike Boyd?
it was
Hey,
neat.
the first time I had him go on an appointment with me, a real estate appointment, he had to go to a farm with me down in Union.
Well,
and I made him go on the appointment, 85 acres, and he's all like, he's just not comfortable. He's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Farmer comes out that's leasing the farm and everything. I make him get out and open the cattle gate, and we drive back through it. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, it's crazy, man.
yeah.
It's crazy. So they're like, it's crazy. Y'all crazy.
Yeah, no, so it was, but it's cool. First time these kids got a paycheck,
Yeah.
they started walking across the street. It's now an art gallery, but it used to be a check cashing joint. So, a lot of those moving up when we're getting rid of the check cashing joint. Okay?
Amen.
So I was like, hey, you want to watch that $129 check turn into $79? Go to the check cashing place, dude. They're going to take $29.99. Well, my mama doesn't have a bank, and da-da-da. I'm like, all right, well, give me a day, and we'll set up a bank account for you.
Home Savings Bank, local Wedlow, or somewhere else?
Boom, Home Savings Bank.
Boom, man. Keep it local.
It was straight. So, they were 17. So they couldn't, as a minor, and I don't know, all this Homeland Security, all this stuff, but I love Home Savings Bank. I set up 3 corporate savings accounts under my name and added them each as an additional signer. So they all had their ATM cards. And then it was great because they wanted to take their money out, Fifth Third or whatever. Paul, it cost me $250 to do it. I'm like, well, here's what you do. You go to Walgreens, you get yourself a box of condoms and some deodorant, all right, and you get $5-10 back, and then you're not having kids, you smell good, and you're saving some money, all right? That's fun, right? Like that's a good.
Yes.
It's a good.
They're
lesson.
like, okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah, okay, all right. A little sex ed. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, we don't need more troublemakers.
No, man.
I mean,
screw this cucumbers and all that stuff,
yeah.
man. Like, let's do
Boom.
this.
So someday we'll have an army of juvenile delinquents who will make a good, honest wage in a circus, and they'll come to Ludlow. They'll learn it. They'll perform at the theater. They'll good at that. They'll apprentice with old Cirque du Soleil artists and ringling people, and kind of have this traditional model. And then they'll go down to Chattanooga, and then they'll go and work at Savannah, and we'll have this really cool vaudeville circuit, and we'll buy all these buildings and opportunity zones, and then that sunsets in like 2028. And then I'm going to sell it like an ESOP to all my employees. My kids are 13 and 15, so I told them between 18 and 22, I'm going to bail you out of jail twice. I will buy international airplane tickets to visit your circus friends around the world, and I will get you a deposit on a apartment. I'm not filling out any FAFSA forms. I'm not co-signing a car loan. So you go survive, go do things, and then I'm going to cash out, sell the business to them, unwind all these opportunity zone things, and should have about $30 million after.
What do you do with the $30 million when you're 55 years old?
I'm gonna. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Start like a prison.
Yeah, just so you know, there was a guy sitting here yesterday that's very wealthy, built a business, sold it for $180 million. He was a partner in it, right?
Right.
55 years old, went home. Now he's a venture capitalist, involved in some co-working spaces, growing entrepreneurs in Missouri, and he's now looking for something else because there's this fire inside.
There's a fire. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's my next 10 years. We've been in Ludlow 11 years.
Yep.
So I want to, button some things up, raise some. The wedding center though is going to really be the engine that fuels it because
from a revenue perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
One wedding, we'll do like a month's worth of business at the theater.
Yep. So one wedding will probably give you a profit of like $10,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
10, 12 maybe, whatever.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. And so, how are you going to these other cities? Are you just like the brilliant mind that has bought Bitcoin and you invested in Tesla?
No.
He bought Amazon early and now he can fund all the cities?
No, I bought a dump building in Ludlow for $50,000 in November 2009. GM was belly up. Lehman Brothers was gone.
It was tough.
I had a home equity loan. I mean, so I got my real estate license when I lived in Manhattan for 2 years, and I had to write a check for $8,000 to rent an apartment. And there were 40 people in line for this thing. It was a no-pets building. It was my wife and I and our little long-haired dachshund. And they gave it to us because we had a two-family in Erlanger. So I'm like, hey, here's the lease. Here's our mortgage. Here's our lease. We're revenue positive. We'll take care of the place. And we kept that. I sublet it for a little while. But it was so cool to, live. It was at 108th in Columbus. So Central Park ends at, 110th Street.
Okay.
So, live in Manhattan. My wife worked in publishing. She made, she had health insurance and paid rent. And I got to street perform and audition for the soaps. I mean, it's a cool. So that's where I learned about to pass that test. There's a lot of air rights that I don't care or know about now, but a lot on historic preservation because that's how these buildings get done. So I learned a lot doing the theater. 7 years it took me beginning to end to get it listed at the state, go down to Frankfurt, and then do the thing and blah 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 and submit all the drawings. But it was cool. I got a historical tax credit, sold at the bank for 85 cents on the dollar. So it was a neat, it was too small of a deal to syndicate it.
Okay.
But the theater, the Big Blue, the Wedding Event Center was a propane distributorship built in 1915. So it's a World War I bunker in the basement.
It's cool, man. I saw a big concrete platform underneath the building. I'm like, there's something cool there.
Yeah. My GC, Albert Fetters Construction.
Oh, he's good stuff.
Fetters is awesome. So,
yeah, man.
And my engineer, and Dan Rich, my architect, we were walking through there and Paul, this building was built before insurance. It was built literally to explode. So it's nuts. The foundation, the basement, first floor, it's 2 foot thick concrete walls. I mean, it's nuts. But the top, it's just a warehouse.
The blue building.
It was built literally to explode. If the propane exploded, and all they would do is rebuild it. They would
just rebuild it on top of the concrete.
Because it was just weird. 1915, got a lot of steel, a lot of people, a lot of concrete. So it was, So I began that process now of getting it listed on the state registry, and this deal it'll be $2-3 million to do the whole thing. So that tax credit will be $500,000-$600,000, and that's something that I will shop. Someone will buy that, and it's in the capital stack. It's cool to have been beat up enough here, but learning. I got a couple master's degrees, and people messing with me.
Yeah, man.
But
same thing when I bought this building, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, man.
Boom.
It's
Boom.
how do you get there? Yeah. And I look back on the past 15 years of my life when I got my real estate license, and you just don't know when you start something 15 years later how all these things you learned and all the little pieces, right? It puts you in the spot to deal with the bankers, to be able to obtain the loan, to have and then once you get in, though, then you know it. And you know the equation, you figured it out.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's neat, too, because we did it. So Jerry Springer twice has been our celebrity ringmaster.
Has he?
Okay, which is fun.
Yeah, so we need to get Jerry on here. So I kind of know somebody supposedly knows him.
Yeah, I can get
So
you
we got to
Jerry.
get him on here.
I'll get you. We'll get Jerry.
You know what I don't want to talk about is I don't want to talk about what everybody thinks about Jerry.
No.
I want to talk about what the heck happened to get him there. Let's talk about the wife, the things you went through that then created this platform that made you be able to be Jerry.
Jerry? So Jerry's laying on a bed of nails in the Ludlow Theater, and he's like, this isn't the first time I've been nailed in Kentucky.
Oh, my God.
Which is funny. I mean, that's funny. That's just funny, right? That just...
Was that the check or not?
No. It's So Lori Quinlan, it was Lori Quinlan when she was a council member. She's like, "What you're doing here is great. I can get you twice as much space in Over the Rhine. You want to come there?" And I was like, it was funny because it was. I was like, no, the Ludlow Fire Department, man, they did my demo. This town's been great. I mean, I don't want to be trying to do this in Over the Rhine, and it's cool because there is no 3CDC in Ludlow. Okay, you know, it's
and I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. They can make their money. They can do all that, but that ain't local. I don't care what anybody says. It's become big business.
Yeah.
Ludlow needs to be Ludlow. Covington needs to be Covington. Newport needs to be Newport, because if you buy into that community, you do amazing things that foment out of there.
It's cool. And, you know, the Zwillow Insurify. This is like a big reinsurer out of like MIT, super smart people. I mean, their numbers, you know, their actuaries, all that crap. They do a lot of insurance underwriting, and they wrote this algorithm for the hottest real estate markets in 48 states. They couldn't get West Virginia. They couldn't get Hawaii.
Cincinnati.
But Ludlow is the hottest real estate market in the whole state of Kentucky. From 2010,
the city of Ludlow?
The city of Ludlow. From 2010 to 2020, you know, hands down, I'll send you the link.
We're selling some real estate in Ludlow. It's right down the hill,
But no, Ludlow, I mean, and it's crazy because it's cool because we've been there 11 years. We've hosted circus artists from 40 different countries legally. Okay, they're not taking jobs away from American circus freaks. Okay, I get my visas. You know, it is cool because here's the deal. Like,
we're coming down. Check this out, Mike. Let's go check him out.
Thomas Massey.
I saw your picture with Thomas Massey. Is that him and his wife? The picture?
Yeah,
there?
Well, I got one. He tweeted it out from his official account. I'm Bounce's office chair in D.C. on my chin.
Yeah,
and he's like, I wish all of my constituents would worry about balancing the budget like Paulie the Clown. I was like, hell yeah, Thomas. You know, so it's fun. But then, like, I got one with McConnell balancing a bar stool for Mitch McConnell. I gave my phone to the Secret Service, and I mean, this is supreme white privilege. Okay, if anybody else held a chair over the Senator McConnell, you get tackled or tased or man, I wouldn't be walking.
It's like, no, this guy's okay.
But it's hilarious. I'll show you the picture because it's so much fun.
So as you're showing me the picture, so
I'm showing it to you. But the thing is, these guys, these Republican dudes, I'm like, listen, we're the 7th leading exporter, but we're like 43rd in visa acquisition. You can't be pro-business but anti-circus business. So I run these ads on, you know, Indeed for a wire walker, and nobody can walk a wire in the United States. So I can get H-1B, B-1, O-2 visas. Like, I've gotten all these different visas, and I've gotten a lot of support from the elected officials because, you know, that's their job, to create jobs and create opportunities. And it's really cool because that's the line I use all the time. You know, they're not taking jobs away from American circus freaks. You know, they're here legally.
As you find the picture there, you
see
this. So how are you going to, man? Listen, he don't even know. Yeah. He don't even know.
Well, it's hilarious. And then Secret Service's like, that's the biggest smile I've seen on him ever. You know, it's just funny to like mess with
big time
Mitch.
Who's running shit in the country.
Oh yeah,
right.
You know, and
is
my
this
liberal
in
friends,
is this in Bircus?
No, that's down
in
it's down in Goodwood. No, that's
okay.
down in Louisville.
Okay.
But you know, man, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I'll break.
Man, you sold out, man. You put the handkerchief in the jacket for it, man. Good marketer,
baby.
Yeah.
You know?
So how are you going to take this? So is the event center going to be enough revenue to drive the other cities, or do you have to get some other investors? Like, what's the story?
I'm waiting for people to really understand how opportunity zones work, because who wants to pay taxes, right?
Listen, and you know what's great about it? For anybody out here that doesn't like that term, that says, oh, everybody should pay their... Here's the reality. You're taking money that would have been tax money, giving it to the government, whatever people feel like that, but you're reinvesting and building something up in the community that's going to turn into so much revenue, so much improvement. It's going to light a fire for development.
And, you know, these two gentlemen, Christian and Wolfgang, so Christian was a head lawyer for, like, the German Stock Exchange. His partner, Wolfgang, was a coach for Cirque du Soleil. Okay. So I sponsored Wolfgang's visa.
Did you make up his name? Because that's totally German.
Wolfgang Binzel.
Get out of here.
So, you know, these guys were they bought a lot of property in Chicago and didn't want to be Airbnb anymore. They retired, so they were kind of unwinding their property. And I worked with once I really understood how these opportunity zones worked. Stith Wimsey, you know, Whitney Stith, Rachel Lincoln, they ended up clawing back all the gains they paid in 2018 and 2019. So we were able to fund this deal with really cool money that was like found money almost, because they had already
allocated,
gone. You know, and it's neat because, but our opportunity fund is really small. You don't have to. It's not like $100 million fund. You know, it's the buy-ins there. So I'm really trying to wait for people around here to kind of understand it, because it sounds too good to be true, honestly. Yep. But you know, putting the deal together, it's just really one of these things. I don't want to raise the money until I have just got one more zoning just
till you
one
can
more
execute.
board of
you can execute.
the zoning. I want to get the zone when it's done. It's done. I mean, read it, because it took me so long to get Bircus open because the goal line kind of kept moving the goal line on me, and I was raising money the whole time. So I'm like, all right, I get it set, get the drawings. I've got the team now. I didn't have the team. I didn't have the GC. I didn't have the plumber. I didn't have the architect. I've got a great cohort that's helped get the theater open. They're pumped and excited. and people aren't doing stuff. Everyone's kind of like sitting on their hands,
and you're not.
And now is the time to I think that's when opportunities really happen.
Listen to the big boys in the country that make all the billions of dollars. Go back to the big name everybody knows of Warren Buffett. When's he buy stock and invest when everyone else is selling?
Yep.
100%.
All day.
So if that's what he's doing, then you just have to find access to capital like he has.
That's the trick. But it's cool, though, now because we have my investors and I, we have 30,000 square feet under roof in Ludlow.
Love it, man.
And but even I had to work. I worked hard. I worked for 2 years trying to push through this old PACE legislation, like the property. It's a property tax assessment
for energy and stuff and everything. Yeah.
So for me, that's killer because that's how I'm going to be able to I'm going to use the historic tax credits on Big Blue and the event center, put the PACE in there as well. That'll be about $800,000.
Yep.
And I'm going to put these little tiny homes on this. All right. So here's the deal.
Let me hear this.
It's going to be like a destination wedding in Ludlow. So instead of people staying at the Marriott, we're going to be able to sleep 40 people on premises, and little 200 square foot houses, just a nice bathroom to get together, maybe Murphy bed in some of them, bunkhouse for a couple kids here if you need to, but basically put 16 of these on the property, and the whole wedding party could just stay overnight.
And they will.
They will. And they'll come Friday for rehearsal dinner. They'll stay overnight. They'll hang out downtown Ludlow. We'll get some kayaks. They'll go mountain biking. They'll do all the cool little stuff. And then
so are
Saturday,
you like the celebrity walking through Ludlow? Now let's be honest.
No,
let's be honest.
No. They look at me. A lot of people are like, oh, there's that damn clown. Because
right. Come on, man. Come on. It used to be balancing chairs on faces.
I know.
It's evolving.
It's evolving. But like that. So that I think that's a way that I'm going to fund it too. Because if we put. I think when people want to cash out of their, McMansions in Union, they want to have a little place in Siesta Key. They want a little flop house in Ludlow, but they'll be snappy little tiny homes, and they can have that to stay when they want to. But the weddings, even during the week, it could be Airbnb'd out. So it is really that's the big topper. That's the real estate angle. But that's how it will get funded. And I'm not going to do that in all the other towns. It's just going to be like an old movie theater and beer and pizza and circus. I'm just not going to be this whole. But we have this kind of headquarters plan where people
100%.
are training over here. We're learning opportunity zones, and then as we're unwinding things, you have to roll that gain into something. So, it's just a weird.
So how's somebody get out? So these $1,000 segments that people bought.
Yep.
Back when Bircus was becoming right, the Class A plus.
Yep.
Does it ever mean anything, or they just have pride that they own some of it?
No, they it was like 0.00. It's 0.0667%. I mean, it's a really so basically I said, hey, Bircus is worth. The idea, the concepts with the tanks, it's $1.5 million. So
that's how
I
you
own
weighed
2/3. I own 2/3, and the investors own 1/3.
It's all a third.
And this, the event center. What's cool is when they cash out eventually, there'll be a gain. But when Bircus sells 51% of our beer through that address, then the Bircus Brewing Company becomes an opportunity zone business. So my basis when I sell to my employees in the ESOP deal, it'll be neat because I'll have. I got 2/3 of it. When I sell it, I'll have a big basis. I'll have this big tax that's due from a capital gain perspective. Yep. Nope, just roll it into an opportunity fund, and so that's for. So we're not getting a dividend yet. I mean, we're still in growth mode, but we're hitting our numbers. We hit 2019 numbers in October, so it's. We got the PPP, all that stuff, but we're doing what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
But we're selling beer, we're selling pizza, we're selling corn dogs, so. And I'm going to do another raise for Bircus soon. I'm just having the accountants kind of audit the things and go through.
What's that going to be? So as you do the other raise, what's that happen? Because the same people that invested will probably reinvest, man, because of your passion, because of what you're building, this energy. Listen, if money can't do things for us and build platforms, what the hell's an accumulation of money in a bank account for anyway?
Absolutely.
Right? So the same people are going to want a piece of this thing. So
what
is
it? And I think a lot of people too are because it was in. I talk a lot. I got a big mouth. This thing was in the news, and all the brewers in town, it's never going to happen. I was like, sure, that's fine. Enjoy it.
Keep on hating, man.
And I've watched so many people go through Taft's, and go through, a Virgil from 8 Ball. All these breweries start, and now there's, serious turmoil in the industry.
100%,
right. And it's cool to be, I don't want to pay full retail for a canning line because even the brewing system I bought through a bankruptcy, so it's like a $300,000 system we bought for $49,000.
You felt good about it. That was like a win. That was like the win of the year.
Huge. So even our walk-in cooler, we got it from Burkhart's Bakery in Newport for $600.
When that building closed?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you think about because that building sold for a steal?
Absolutely.
Whoever bought that turned out that was a steal. I looked at it like 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
and went, I'm too busy to do something else.
It
was incredible.
It is neat. So I'm gonna I'm gonna probably try and raise another $500,000-$600,000 so that we can get the canning line. We have to get more tanks because like the
volume's growing.
And just upgrade some things and finish some stuff and but that the driver will be the event center and selling the beer there and the strategy really because we have paid a lot of taxes. So it's like when the laws come out for the Jobs Act, I'm like, I'm going to do Reg A. I want to do that. That's Obama's deal. The Trump's deal is the Tax Credits and Jobs Act. So it was fun during this political season. Amy McGrath and my wife went to Notre Dame the same year. We all graduated in '93. So I did this big political
So
event
they went
for
to Notre
McGrath.
Dame. You went to Covcat.
Yep. So
like they're right here below
right
us.
here. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right there.
right here.
So we ended up doing this event for Amy McGrath, but I reached out to McConnell's office and Massey's office and listen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not to say, like, I said, this is a historical theater. It's a venue. You guys are welcome to do something here if you'd like. So then, like 2 weeks later, Ronna McDaniel, who's like the head of the RNC, was in Ludlow, and we had like Secret Service and all that. It was crazy. It was a women's only event, and same with McGrath. I said, hey, no sign, no signs, no McGrath with Circus Mojo. I mean, I got custom. Like, you can call it the theater, do this, and it said same rules for you all. Call it the Ludlow Theater. It's not Bircus. It's not Circus Mojo. It's just, and everyone followed the rules. But it was interesting. Like right before the Republican, they put this big "Women for Trump" thing like right on the tanks, and I was like, hey, remember the rules we set up, guys? Said you want these microphones to work? All right, then and it was neat. But I got
how'd that feel? Like that confrontation? You're a confident guy. How'd it go?
It was great, but I had to submit my notes because I did a little 2-minute opening speech, and I got to talk about, thank you. The last time the Republicans came to Ludlow was William Howard Taft in 1908. Welcome back, Republicans. And got to crack my jokes about foreigners and circus freaks, and it was fun. I got to bounce a keg on my chin, and
you're a brilliant business person and marketer, man. You've got this marketing thing running in your blood,
dude.
Man.
It's cool because. I was teasing them at the end of the day because they did it on Wednesday morning and McGrath's was a Saturday evening. I was like, it's too bad. The Democrats, they spent like $3,000 in Ludlow. The Republicans, they only spent $600.
That's what happens to Wednesday and Saturday nights.
Yeah,
is how it happens.
Funny. Yeah, they were like, then they ordered more corn. It was just it was a fun.
How do they take that? Do they not take it well? Because they're just not used to that.
No, because it's fun because I'm a clown. Like I can get away with it. I mean, not a lot of people could, but. I know Team Mitch. I mean, they know me, and it's a cool thing to be. And I tell people, I voted for Ross Perot. I mean, I think our 2-party system doesn't work, but
I can already tell, baby. We're talking about this.
We're doing
pacifist, anarchist. Like I'm like, oh yeah, he's got it in there, man. Paul Miller for something for third-party champion.
No. My wife told me I could do whatever I want as long as I don't run for office. So I'm not gonna screw this shit.
Yeah,
up,
you
guys.
can't do that. No. She'll cut you, man.
Follow the rules. Follow the rules.
So what do you recommend? Man, wherever you came up with this drive and this pursuit to pursue the Class A, so all the different investors can get involved in, what do you recommend for other entrepreneurs that have this idea, right? Because it's always this hot thing, what I see in entrepreneurship and now with YouTube and social media and everything just blowing up. Entrepreneurship is like the cool thing now. What are you popping up? This is good, by the way.
Baby.
Hell yeah, man. So which one don't I have down here? What is this?
That's the Motordrome.
On Motordromes. It's a cool name.
Yeah, Motordrome. So Ludlow, I mean, this kind of back to the investors. I mean, so 100+ years ago, 3 guys put up money to make the streetcar line. Okay, rich dude in Cincinnati, rich guy in Covington, rich person in Newport. And they had, and everybody told them, no one's going to ride your streetcar. This is a horse and buggy town. And this is like 1880, okay?
It was booming. Like Cincinnati was like a top 5 city in the country.
Because,
the river.
Yeah, San Francisco, but it's just like that's the Cincinnati mentality, which is crazy. So huge capital expenditures. Nobody was riding on the weekend. So this 4th guy was like, look, let me see your projections. Okay, here's the problem. You thought you were going to make money 7 days a week. You're only making money 5 days a week. I'm going to build an amusement park in Ludlow called the Ludlow Lagoon. Mm-hmm. You got to get Covington and Ludlow to build Highway Avenue because the road used to get washed out on the river. So Ludlow was kind of like this weird little pocket where people were, going to. So
get washed out all the time. So you might have like a warehouse, grain warehouse, something.
Yeah. So they got Covington and Ludlow built Highway Avenue, and that's where the streetcar went. So it goes right in front of the theater. Okay, right past Big Blue. So it's neat because it was this destination creation. So the Motordrome was a wooden motorcycle track at the Ludlow Lagoon, and they used to have gas lighting. And there was this huge accident. Like the motorcycle crashed, exploded, killed 12 people. They rebuilt it the next year so dudes could drink beer and watch motorcycle racing. I'm not even kidding you. Like, so that's so our beers are tied to like the kind of history and lineage of Ludlow. So I have a list of circus acts that performed at the Ludlow Lagoon 100 years ago. So like a lot of our beers are named after the circus acts, and it's cool because that's what it was. It was the destination. So they had a flood, they rebuilt. Tornado, they rebuilt. 1917, during World War I, they stopped all the production of beer. It was kind of before pre-prohibition.
Yep.
So when they couldn't sell beer, the Lagoon went out of business. Covington was so pissed because all that wealth from Cincinnati was going through Covington to Ludlow. So they quickly built Latonia Raceway down there,
Yep.
And they extended the streetcar line. And then the casinos in Newport kind of took over, and then it was Prohibition. So like that was like one of the high points in Ludlow was like 1915, 16 when the Lagoon was really hitting it. And then because they bought all of the stuff from the the Columbian Exposition Fair in Chicago.
Yep.
So it was like a weird.
Wasn't that when like electricity was happening and coming to the country?
Yeah.
Right? So they were trying to replace all this gas, the whale oil stuff, which turned to gas. So wasn't that like an Edison Tesla battle? Kind
Absolutely.
of, right?
Yeah.
So that was that whole time period in the country.
Yeah, and it was technology and it was innovation, but really it was just a circus hustle. It's a concessions. People came, and it saved the streetcar line. So that was the Green Line. Okay, so the Green Line ended up building that bus depot over in Newport, right at the 12th Street Bridge there.
Yep.
Mr. Federer's Constructions now. So the Green Line, that line was so successful that kind of evolved into Tank.
No shit.
The Northern Kentucky bus. So it's a weird. So it's cool. Like I love history, and I didn't know all this about the Lagoon, all these circus acts. But it's so cool that I'm not in like Union or Ellesmere or trying to do this
history,
man. And it's cool because it's not like some of the big brand groups. So they're like, oh, we helped Braxton, we helped Ryan guys. We want to work with you. We'll do it for X dollars. I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. I don't want Puma or Cheetah or Storm or some baloney. Like all of our beers are. We really embrace the history of Ludlow and kind of the circus concept. So the Shark Bar is in honor of the Yacht Club, which unfortunately sank. So
are they going to rebuild that?
I
don't know.
I think his kids really want to, but Jerry, I don't know. It would be so hard because he got grandfathered in. You're gonna have ADA accessible bathrooms. It's
tough,
just
man.
it is.
You're talking about big bucks to overcome all this stuff. Yeah, and insurance probably paid out. It's like, man, financially, does this make sense?
And
the Lagoon's across the street though. He's got the Lagoon,
the Lagoon Saloon,
right?
Yep.
Right. And so if they want, so what you're saying is Bircus is, you can come there and just get a piece of the name of the freaking beer is a piece of like history.
Yeah, it's and it's neat because there is this huge resurgence of like pride in Ludlow. It's not like the Riverettes. Like or used to be like.
We have 2 or 3 of our agents at this real estate company that work down there.
Yeah,
that live down there and they work right up the hill.
No,
they love it. It's this secret that maybe should have stayed a secret.
That's.
I don't know.
I don't think people want to live in like outer Hebron anymore. There's
coming back,
people,
man. But there's energy.
There is there's things to do. It's so close to downtown. It's an $8 Uber.
It's amazing.
It is neat.
So what do you on this again? Back to this, the A+ and the funding. How the heck can somebody do this without having to go through the learning curve that you did to build a business with that type of funding? Would you recommend it to other entrepreneurs or no?
Again, kind of back to my roots as a work-study guy, the guys that Daddy bought him a car at Covington Catholic, I didn't get along with those people. I didn't want to have someone tell me, no, you can't juggle fire in your building. Okay, so in the
because the reality is in entrepreneurship, everyone will tell you whatever your idea is.
Yeah.
If it's not happened before, it's a dumb idea.
Well, and to do what I wanted to do in the theater, like the cheap way to do smoke detection is like laser beam. So you put one in each corner, they cross, and that's your smoke detection. But you can't use a fog machine. I know some punk kid would throw up a juggling and it would go off, So we put in $18,000 heat detection. And it allows us to use the fog machine with the bands and stuff, and we juggle fire, and we eat fire and breathe fire, and I always give props to the fire department, and all the Coast Guard and the dog catchers, the other first responders. You know what I'm saying?
But really low fire department.
So like, I think it's been a struggle though. To do it your own way, it's going to take 5 times as long. But I don't want I don't want to exit. Like, I'm not going to get acquired by Anheuser-Busch is not going to come by me.
Do you know what happens, though? That's not your goal and you don't think it happens? Weird stuff happens.
Oh, yeah. No,
right?
I mean, everything's for sale. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I think some entrepreneurs.
That's their goal. That's why they started.
Yes. Yeah. I have this idea, and is it going to work? I don't know. I pitched it. I did friends and family around it, all that kind of stuff. But then you're going to have this, because what I pitched to all the local groups around here, because my work, my favorite work I was doing was at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. So it was about patient experience. So we would bring the circus to the hospital and work at the orthopedics waiting room. And people are bored out of their minds. They're sitting there for 3 hours, and they got a broken arm, their dominant arm, but they learn to spin a plate, and they're actually doing something. And I get the mouth off. The doctors would come out and watch. Hey, get back to work. You see all these people? They're waiting on you. Now, this show's not for you, buddy. Get the hell out of here. It's fun.
Does that really happen?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, hey.
But it was a good cop, bad cop. The doctors would do it on purpose.
Yep. They learned
Parents loved it. It was just so much fun.
The kids are laughing like, what's going on?
They loved it.
Yeah.
Dad would try to, hey, Dad, put that plate down. If you want to spin a plate, go to university. All right, this is Children's Hospital. Only for the children, okay? So, but I pitched this idea to, like, everybody. Because in Israel, and I actually got to work in Israel, they, before surgeries, a clown is an option. So we give people, like, a 2-drug cocktail, all right? Midazolam and Versed. So you get them, like, a little bit loopy, and then you put the gas on them. In Israel, a clown spends 15, 20 minutes with the kid ahead of the surgery. I did this. I rolled in 5
really
surgeries.
Happens.
I really got to scrub in and be in an operating theater in Israel 5 different times. Go in. The kid makes the bond with the clown. They're called dream doctors. And then the clown, puts the mask on. The kid puts the mask on. They're laughing. They inhale the gas, and they get knocked right out. So I presented that at the board at one of the exchange board at Cincinnati Children's. Like, well, we want to bill for this. We want to bill for this 2 drugs. So I'm like, you know what? We got to create a Medicaid billing code for this work, because like equine therapy, it exists. It's real, but it happened because we had some wealthy people in Kentucky that had a big giant farm and a whole bunch of horses, and they had to figure out how to clean the stalls, how to pet their ponies. So they got the right group of people, and the right psychologist, psychiatrist wrote the da-da-da-da, did the thing, submitted the stuff. Now we have equine therapy. So clowns, we just don't have that kind of resources. So like slowly, that's why I want to get out of the beer business and get back into that thing, because we had so much fun working there. When I left, they wanted me to sign over all my intellectual property, my IP, and I was like, no way, So that's what's cool for me, And then I actually got to do a Zoom for them the other day, because their mental health team is like, everyone's really struggling. So I got to chime in their December meeting, and I taught everybody how to juggle plastic grocery bags. And it was so cool.
How the heck did you
via Zoom?
What?
Everybody had plastic. Everybody had plastic.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster.
They had so much fun.
Right,
people did it, And I'm like, "Come on, doctor!" Yelling at them.
Yeah.
And it was
no one ever gets to yell at the doctor, for the record.
Oh, I got in so much trouble there. Like one time I was like, hey, this place is filthy. Come on, watch it. And then the senior vice president for facilities was like, this is not filthy.
You can't say that.
He pushed, he didn't push me, but he came to the corner, wrote down my badge. Like, I got called to the office. I was super busted. But I was like, dude,
relax,
dude. I get everybody. And Dr. Connolly, she was like the head of infection control. At first, they hated us because I came up to her at the 2-day orientation, shook her hand. Hey, doctor, I'm Paul. We're going to bring the circus. You are not. So then it was great because for 2 months, we weren't allowed because emails or whatever. Like, the contract was signed, so I invoiced him for the first month.
Yes.
And I was like, well, you got to pay it. You guys got to get your act together. So they paid us for 2 months. I mean, we made it up for them. But it was cool because we started there, 2 days a week for 2 hours, and then it evolved where eventually we were there, 9 shifts a week. It was called Code Plaid. So if there was a lot of people in the morning, they'd call it Code Plaid, and we'd show up for 2 hours in the morning. Or if it was and sometimes they're like, man, we're so backed up. Can you get here? And I'm like, yeah, we'll be there in 20 minutes. It was we were like on call, but we made like the HR was so happy. But I got in so much, like, doctors be walking and texting them. Hey, look, buddy, pull over and text. You're gonna step on that kid. Now, if you do, cha-ching. Bottom line.
Just serious, like legit. They're not joking.
Oh, and when you call the doctor buddy, they're pissed. Okay, so but this happens, and then tell me, it's good for our bottom line, but you took an oath. First, do no harm. Okay, so pull over the text, man. Come on, and so. For about 2 years, they loved that. Like the insurance people, the risk, whatever. They loved me calling it out, and they're like, "Keep doing that, man. It's excellent." But enough doctors complained that I was told, "All right, you cannot do that anymore, Paul." And I was like, "Okay." And it's funny because the green badges were contractors and the blue badges were. I was like, you got to speak for Michael Fisher's the CEO. We're green badge. We do what we want. So we'd always work two people, and it was so fun because we'd argue we'd start in the garage. Hey, it's my turn to push a button. You push the button last time. So we're like two clowns arguing about who gets to push a button, and the mom's holding with their kid. She's like. The look on her face is like, shut up, you jerks. My kid's gonna. So like, all right, kid, go ahead, push a button. And then hey, could you push 3 or 1 3? And then could you push this button, please? And it would be the alarm.
Yeah.
And and it was so great because adults laugh when they're nervous, okay, or when
100%.
they're surprised.
Those two things, right?
Yeah, and it would be the elevator would be full of nurses and doctors and executives, and I get the little kid to push the button. It's so cool because
Great.
we all wear pants. We all put our pants on the same way.
So you know what's amazing though? I bet. You being a clown at heart,
yeah,
right? It serves you so well because to your point earlier, you can get away with the shit, man.
Oh yeah,
100%. You're like, wait, what are you talking about, man?
Hey, it was cool because I would bounce a wheelchair on my chin, and security would be like, "Hey, Paul, do it." I'm like, "All right, you got it." And are you? Whatever you clowns. Hey, we're not clowns, man. We don't have security. We have protective services. We're Circus wellness specialists, okay?
We're
not clowns, man.
Come on.
So they were the number 3 children's hospital.
Yep.
And we were there for 8 years. Now they're the number 2 hospital.
You took
They
credit
don't
for
know. They don't know that the clowns are the Circus wellness
You were the reason,
specialists.
right?
We don't, you can't prove that we're not.
So you're the reason for everything, just like Ludlow had the resurgence, right?
No,
and now it's a top whatever of,
I'm not, I just
You're just
pointing
a part
out some
of
stats.
Right.
Just saying, playing my little part.
So this thing about it started off by saying, hey, do you recommend entrepreneurs go down this path? Is it kind of like, man, what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do? Through this class A plus.
Protect your IP, okay? First of all, like if you're an entrepreneur,
intellectual property,
you gotta, and that's what they want. That's what people want, okay? So my circus I started in Chicago called Circus Theme, building self-esteem to the circus arts, okay? Brilliant name. I had a board there. I did nothing wrong, but they fired me, and I mean they should really.
They
but
should
I
feel terrible about themselves.
Well, no. You know what? I was actually invited to their alumni Zoom meeting, and it was so cool because it was a pretty. Basically, I started as a for-profit company, Circus Team, and then we made a nonprofit kind of arm. The nonprofit took off. Like I was there 6 years. It was 3 years. It was for-profit. 6 years. It was nonprofit. We earned $1 million in revenue. We secured over $1 million in donations, and the kids. We're talking like Sudanese refugees and kids, African American, first in their generation to go to school. They got $1 million in college scholarships. And when I was exiting. We negotiated this like $28,000 a year for 10 years. So I was supposed to get like a $280,000 payout over a 10-year period. And I saw things kind of writing on the wall because they hired the search firm to replace me. And then this guy like really tanked it hard. And then I wrote a letter to the Attorney General of Illinois and pissed off a billionaire who was on my board. I mean, I rocked that boat. I mean, and they made sure I went away, which was cool. But before all that happened, I donated $280,000 to my organization. I said, hey, this is my baby. I'm proud of this. And they wanted to make it all about the money. But anyway, they made it about intellectual property. So I learned some really good lessons there. And that's really helped me structure the Reg A deal and make sure my contract with Children's Hospital made a lot of sense. And so for entrepreneurs out there, like go start something, fail, fail hard. But when you're failing, don't pull it all down around you. Like when leaders make dumb moves, you can own up to the dumb move. You could relinquish things, but that's where the pacifism or like the idea of conflict versus solutions. And it's cool now because I felt really honored last week to be invited on this Zoom meeting, and I didn't know about a third of the people. I had no idea who they were, but I founded something that is next year is their 20th anniversary. And it's evolved. Their mission now is they're serving many people, and I was serving really few people. And I stepped down when my 2 kids were born because I didn't want to put all the love. You just had to spread the love around. But for an entrepreneur, start things, and when it's over, don't be stupid. Send the thank you note, shake the hand, show up at the party.
How do you know when it's over?
Don't take the bat. What?
How do you know when to quit? When is it over?
I don't quit. I always get fired. I don't quit. That's I got fired at Arby's, got fired at Burger King, fired at Hardee's. I fired from Circus Team.
So get fired.
Children's Hospital didn't fire me, but they didn't renew the contract, and we had a debate over the IP. But I'm like, no,
you got fired.
IP. Well, I didn't get fired. I was close a couple times. I mean, again, because when the senior vice president for wipes sends an email that those clowns are using the wipes from our department's budget on the wall, and I'm just take them off the wall and get everybody to clean their hands and clean their phones. And I love sending that to Dr. Connolly. Hey, Dr. Connolly, it seems like I've irritated the senior vice presidents of wipes. I'm just trying to keep it clean here, Doc. And she's like, so she went from like hating me,
loved you,
to like
I'm trying to keep it clean.
Me getting in trouble for using some other department's wipes. Like but they have a job to do. Like they're that's my CPA's job. Like, you got to do your budget. But it's a hospital. You're going to get, hey, clean that phone. That thing is filthy. Come on, take the kids. I get them to clean your elbows. It's the most neglected part of the body, according to the New England Journal of Medicine. Oh, really? No, I just totally made that up. Keep it clean. It was just so much fun.
So get started.
Take action. If you get fired, fantastic.
Where's that self-awareness and self-consciousness? Where's that come from to say, hey, I want to grow, I want to develop? Because there's got to be some confidence in there to pick yourself back up and to want to move forward, right? I mean, that's real.
But, and wear your badge. I mean, I got my sideburns were too low. I got fired from Arby's essentially.
Are these too low?
No. Those are past the Arby's handbook. So the guy there found out that I led this big rally down in Fountain Square. I had super long sideburns. He fired me because I didn't shave him the next day. I went in my Arby's uniform. I interviewed at Burger King, and I got hired on. So the next day when I was working at Burger King, I showed up in Burger King uniform and had my beef and cheddar and just so like that's fun. Okay, for me, that's just fun.
There's always been a clown in there, man.
Oh,
right?
It's trouble.
Right?
It's just
I got found a legal way to create trouble.
Oh, dude, I got fired by fax when I worked at Hardee's. Man, this is great. So I was City Lights was this old nightclub, like a teen nightclub down there. So I won the dancing contest. I was voted.
What moves did you win it with?
I had the splits. I was at disco. It was fun. It was really fun. So I won one night, and I was invited back to the finals, and I lost to Special Ed and Jeromeo. So these two dudes were better dancers than me.
So it was 2 against 1?
No, it was like there was a crowd. It was a fun. It was just something so stupid. I mean, you're 17 years old. You're just
but
being
you were
dumb.
pumped. You got invited back to the championship round.
Yeah, it was hilarious. So that was my name at Hardee's. I'd worked the drive-through. Welcome to Hardee's. This is Jeromeo. Can I take your order, please? And then
how long that last?
So much for that. I was there for I did a year at Arby's, a year at Burger King, and a year at Hardee's. So I did like 14 at Arby's, 15, 16 at Hardee's. I guess it was 16 I was there. But so the general manager for the 5-state region, because he pulled up, was like, "Oh, you're the 40th customer of the day. Free big cookies for the whole car."
He's like, "You can't do that."
No.
You can't get free cookies.
He's like, "What is your name?" I was like, "Jeromeo." Jerome, what that? It was so great. So the next day I get in there and I got fired by fax. Dear manager, one of your Jeromeo, your obnoxious drive-through host, Jeromeo, gave everybody free big cookies, and then they were like looking at their stock, like, "Holy shit, we haven't been selling those cookies. Paul's been giving away." So I got fired.
Done.
But it's all right. Good times, man.
So just fail. So how do you accept this failure thing, right? There are opposing viewpoints to this. Like these multi-billionaires, like, no, man, like don't fail. It's really hard. And then everybody was like, fail fast and learn and grow. Like what's Paul Miller's thing? We're going to fail to learn and grow.
We're going to fail. I'm learning. I'm failing a lot less than I used to fail because I failed so much, so often. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to piss the people off as much anymore. Like, for a while there, it just was a thing where it's like I had to go out of my way to make sure that the people hurt. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of past that. People know where I stand on some things, and they don't have to know where I stand. It doesn't matter, So failing, we're failing on some levels. Like I don't have the dollars to get my own canning line, but I'm canning. And because we're canning, it's working. I'm failing. I'm learning new skills. I haven't made the dough, but I make the pizza. I stretch the pizza. I cook the pizza. Like I'm learning this whole new skill, and it's cool because as a juggler, I'm also getting like weird Axeman muscles because I'm chopping wood now. I mean, this is weird, but it's like in a time where everybody else is, it's a little crass. When everyone's crapping their pants, I've never had pants. I've been crapping and running for 45 years. You know, so it's like that's my mentality on it. And I think as an entrepreneur, learn, just really think about, hey, I don't get into reading all those books and all these quips and all that kind of stuff. It's more like a get up and do it, and it's amazing. If you buy an old dumpy building, that's why I tell theater majors, go move home and buy some old movie theater and then show up every day, 7 days a week for 10 years, and something's good going to happen.
And you're going to figure it out. As
you're
long as you get up and you're like, something's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Well, but then, again, back to whole Roger and the wrestling. I didn't take his mats down. I pointed out the situation from my perspective, let him make the call to take the mat down, and like my kids, they used to run around down there. When my son was like 5, he ran in there and really started playing somebody's drums because, like, it's his big toy box down there. And this drummer was so angry, and I said, you know what? Hey, dude, a couple things. Number one, I'll buy you a new set if you're irritated. I mean, I don't have the resources right this second, but he's 5 years old. He doesn't know any better. He walks on a ball. This is his living room almost.
And you're kind of his idol, dude.
Yeah. So it's like, really. So and the guy's like, oh yeah, you're right. But I think that's the trigger. Like, people are fast to go negative. I just think that's how it works.
Maybe it's just something built in. Maybe it's in the human DNA that goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Right? Might be something in there.
I mean, there were clowns. The Neanderthals were laughing at something.
Right?
My philosophy is so there's power here. It's the president. It's the empress. It's the power is here. The CEO. It's up there, and that's why I'm not the C. That's why I'm the CGO. I will hire a CEO one of these days, and it'll be neat. But on this side is there all of the serfs, the plebes, the truck drivers, the Walmart, like the lower class on this side.
Yep.
This side in the triangle, you have the Senate, the Congress, the bankers, the lawyers, like the power base that wants to get to the king. In the middle, there's the jester, really doing and speaking truth to all three sides, making fun of all three sides, and that. So I would challenge like the entrepreneur, like when I'm doing, we do a lot of corporate team building workshops, okay, and we'll get the whole office together, and you see the alphas, like the top salespeople, they quit juggling so fast because they have no patience. They want it now. So those are like I call those the acrobats. They drive nice cars. Their hair's real nice. They go through life doing backflips and, smelling good. Like, that's the acrobat, okay? The juggler is the one that, like, deletes every email, makes their bed. There's a system in place, like the tie is perfect. That's the juggler. Then there's the clown. And this is usually, like, the short, round guy or the tall, skinny girl. But, it's like it's the Laurel and Hardy. It's the outlier. And every office has ones, okay? But what's neat is in, like, a 2-hour team building, the low achievers who aren't the ones that are top or bottom, and the mid to low, they're the ones that learn to spin a plate first. They're the one that learn to juggle fast because they watch all the alphas really like slip, and then they learn, and it's a cool system to see how this works. And then the alphas are like, and then they get challenged, and then they get frustrated, and then they can't do it. And the people on the who are the janitor, the secretary, the people that do the work, then all of a sudden they're spinning plates, they're juggling, they're doing these things, and it's cool because that's like this reset that I think an office needs, like any
company,
culture,
an industry, any culture, right?
Any family, we need to be respectful of who is where and why they're there and what's going on.
Some hierarchy or something.
Yeah, and that's the only way you're going to close the deals anyway. And it's neat when you have management and like a union shop. So that was cool because then I force them to put their arms around each other, and we teach them to juggle one arm at a time. So one person just uses their left hand, the other person uses the right hand.
I'm such a bad juggler.
But
I try, but I'm so bad.
Well, but again, it's something. But like as we age, maybe you golf, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to learn pickleball here now, but I'm just saying.
I'm excited.
We do less and less as we get older, as we age out. There's less and less things that we do. Yeah. When you're 10. You're swimming, you're playing baseball, you're doing soccer. So, like, I would ask an entrepreneur, figure that out. Like, come at things asymmetrically. Like our country, I think, was built on a bunch of clowns, really. Anarchist clowns, religious zealots. We came over here. We couldn't get along in Europe. So we came here and we did whatever we wanted. And then we didn't like the system. And the British, red coats, white X's, we're hiding in trees. It's guerrilla warfare.
Yep.
And I think our country now is doing a lot of we are red coats in white X's, and we could look at any conflict from Vietnam to the current ones that we're in. It's that asymmetrical way. That's asymmetrical warfare. That's success. And entrepreneurs, I think, need to really kind of study up that concept of conflict and look at that history. And that's how I think people can be successful. And, if making money is the thing, that's cool. If buying property is the thing, that's cool. If getting 15 patents is the thing, that's cool. But, coming at it from a different angle is something that's how I've been able to kind of find success.
How'd you learn that?
I don't know. I just
happened through experience taking
I mean,
from the circus, from
like AP history. I mean, I had a great education in Covington Catholic, but I could get out of work if I was in plays at the girls' school, so Notre Dame. So I played freshman football, had a great time. But I was like, do I want to lift weights with these meatheads, or do I want to be across the street with the ladies? It was pretty simple. Simple answer. Simple. And then, painting. I lucked out to get the job painting at CovCath. So when I graduated, I had the skill. So I was working at Arby's. I was working at $3.80 an hour at 14, and I was working at school for 2 hours. And that's what my kids are that age. And I'm like, listen, when I see you do 2 hours on this thing, that's junk. Play your piano, get your guitar, do your juggling. Draw something, because we're just turning into mush.
100%.
We're just completely consumed with.
So go out and do things and try things.
Do it.
Right? So, but what gave you that confidence? So was that built in? Because I think this is really an issue to start, to try.
Yeah, I'm an angry guy. I'm angry.
Okay.
But I spend my energy doing things instead of tearing shit up. I mean, I think you're either happy or you're sad. You're going to be laughing or you're going to be crying. So this is that's what fuels me. I mean, I'll get back to my audit because this is so cool, and this rocked the boat. But this is a true story. I qualified Ludlow as a third world country, and the German Peace Corps sent people there for 10 years. Okay, and my friends work in the Peace Corps. Actually, when the pandemic hit, I had 2 Peace Corps volunteers from Northern Kentucky. They had nowhere to live and no jobs, and they didn't get unemployment, so they left Africa to come to live in Ludlow because they had nothing else to do. But for 10 years, Ludlow had. It was a food desert. We had the yacht club, so it was a seasonal restaurant. We had no grocery store. We had no other restaurant. So it was like, according to the Germans, it was a food desert. It was 6 times the national poverty level. There were more renters than homeowners. And the school, according to the Germans, they look at it as pass-fail, not like a 5-point Likert scale, like, needs improvement, meets proficiency, et cetera. And, man, I said that on the news a couple years ago, and Ludlow was ready to hang me.
The superintendent was calling you and saying.
No, Borchers was awesome.
Okay.
The city, online, they were tearing
Crushing
me up.
You.
And Mike Borchers, the superintendent, he went out of his way. He called me. I apologized because I believed that it was truthful what I said, but I realized that it hurts and frustrated people, and we do have a great school. But I, as a taxpayer, I spent a lot of money to make that school. And I presented at a school board meeting years ago because they were giving like iPads for their best and the brightest, and they were getting all the kids to go to the Gatton school, like EKU or WQ or something. I was like, you know what? I believe as a taxpayer, we need to spend half of that money on your bottom 20%, or you can't spend enough money or attention on your top sales team or your top students. If you want to be successful, you got to work. You got to take some of those resources and work on the bottom side of things. So I've got a really good relationship with the board, with the school board and Borchers, but still the media and people spun it up, and I really pissed off a lot of people in Ludlow. But Mike went out of his way. We took a picture. He tweeted it out. We buried the hatchet. But Ludlow, we can thank these incredibly talented Peace Corps volunteers from Germany. And youth soccer, like in our country, everyone plays soccer. Everyone does circus over there. So these would be like 18 to 25-year-old young people, and they were here for an entire year. And they got paid $125 a week was their stipend, all right? And they lived upstairs in our circus suite, so above our, now it's above the kitchen, but it was above our tasting room, and it was above our offices. And so I got a tankless hot water in there, which is nice because in the circus train there was no hot water.
Man, hot water forever.
Yeah, forever.
I have it in a lot of my buildings, man.
When you're circus performing, people are standing on you, you got to work those knots out of your muscles. But so it was neat. So we've hosted like these really great artists from Mexico live there, and these great artists from Germany, and that really cultivated a really great thing. So there's kids who there's a kid, Jesse Suttles. He grew up in Ludlow. He was the first group of kids to study with us. He's now working professionally in Europe. All right, and his family has been on public aid forever. They've been living in subsidized housing, and I had to track his dad down. I had to get him a passport. I had to get both parents to sign. We were over doing a 3-week circus tour in Germany, and I'm like, hey, parents, there's 2 parties there. They each get 2 beers, and it's how they do it in Germany. I said, I'm not going to tell your kids they can do it. I'm not going to give them the green light. I'm not going to give them a red light. I'm going to give them the strong yellow light. And I'm going to make sure all the phones are with me that night, so there's not going to be any pictures of your kids drinking in Germany. But It went in Rome, okay? Went in Rome. Yep. But this triggered this big IRS audit because I was, deducting these, it looked like I was just taking this $250 a week and putting it in my pocket.
Yep.
Because but they didn't have Social Security numbers, so they couldn't get 1099.
It was to you.
It was a cool So I was able to, like, with blog posts and with with Whitney Stith, who's the big cheese, and it was awesome because this auditor, she's like, I ordered Santa Claus and I nailed him, and I'm gonna nail you, clown. Not nail, but it was really. And Whitney's like, Paul, don't speak unless I ask you a question. You just sit there quietly. We survived the audit. It was great. The German Peace Corps like helped us out, and like my biggest client last year was the German Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I produced a circus 10 days in Chicago, 5 days in Atlanta, and 5 days in Portland, Oregon, and it was funded by the German Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It's like, I'm a bigger deal. Man. I'm a bigger deal in Frankfurt, Germany than I'm in Frankfurt, Kentucky.
way.
Yeah.
How often do you go back? Do you go? Do they bring you?
I go. Right now, everything's on hold, but there's a gentleman, super dude. Like, he walked in the building. I was at the Small Business Development Center. So that's another thing for entrepreneurs. Reach out. Get the help. I have a theater degree. I got great bookkeepers. I got great accounts, great lawyers. Build a team, and you could be really successful. But then listen to the team, right? So I'm at the Small Business Development Center, and this guy walks in, and he's just super Army dude. I mean, and it turns out he's a combat engineer, West Point, charge of security in Baghdad, and all that stuff.
It just fits the mold,
man.
Just
right?
Boom.
And I'm like, oh, hey, man, cool. Assalamu alaikum. We just hosted this 2 artists from Indonesia. They didn't blow anything up, man. They went home. Assalamu alaikum. And he's like laughing, but he was really like trying to process.
He's trying to figure you out, man.
Yeah.
He's like, what is going on here?
Yeah. And these 2 guys from Indonesia, it's amazing. So they, when I work with foreigners, we always write down all the words they know in English. So they knew cold and they knew pizza. We were performing at the opening of the Remke's over at Buttermilk Pike, the re-grand opening or something. And these kids, it blew their mind. There was an entire aisle of cold pizza. I had to teach them how to use a toilet. They had never flushed a toilet before. All right, and these are 18 and 25-year-old guys. They now run a circus in Indonesia. One of my students from Circus Team started. Dan Roberts, he's now the boss at Circus Team. He started a circus in Indonesia, and he came back with his wife and 2 kids, and he runs Circus Team. But his proteges came. I sponsored their visas. They came and worked with us here for 6 months, and they went to Canada. They're big deals in their community because they came to America.
Yeah, man.
But it's so funny because this is in Ludlow. Like all this
Ludlow, Kentucky.
So it's been fun. But this guy Chris Sims, like, I need to understand what you're doing. So he helped me qualify for this STEP program. It's like State Technical Export Program.
Okay.
And because I've hosted artists from 40 countries, he's kind of qualified my business as an educational outreach, almost like a vocational school, because when I was working at Children's Hospital and I had these German people coming, so I got like $10,000 a year that's taxpayer money to travel to recruit more artists to come to Kentucky. And it's cool as hell because like we are the 7th leading exporter. A lot of it's bourbon, a lot of it's horses, a lot of it's aerospace. But it's neat because I've been lobbying on Capitol Hill for a couple different like arts initiatives. Yeah. But it's neat to like learn the lingo, put on the suit and tie, bounce a chair, and they're really scratching their heads like, who the hell? But it's cool because you got 10 minutes to explain to a politician that for every dollar you spend on the arts, there's 7 other dollars in related spending. There's tipping the valet, it's going out to the fancy restaurants.
And that speaks directly to their brain, man.
Boom.
Right?
Yeah.
You say $1 means 7.
Yeah. But it's cool because Massey, I know, would never vote for arts money.
Ever.
But he still made time to see me, for me to bounce, to tweet it out. And it's cool. Like I went to his party when he got reelected, just wished him congratulations. And, it's a neat, I was teasing him because Rashida Tlaib, like she's one of the members of the squad.
Yeah.
And she's co-sponsoring.
Of the 4, right?
Yeah, so she's co-sponsor. Well, he's the lead sponsor, but she's co-sponsored the bill to try and get, it's called the Prime Act, so that ranchers can like slaughter their own meat and sell it direct to customers. Not across state lines, but just today, I loaded up we put 200 gallons of spent grain, and we feed a farmer in Pendleton County. So Gravitz Angus is where we get our beef from.
Local, grass-fed, all this stuff.
So
farm-to-table stuff, all this.
So I was going to invite Rashida Tlaib and Thomas Massey for a little steak dinner at my place. Because she's up in Detroit, and they want to do the halal beef, and it's just cool because, and
I have a Muslim friend that taught me about this. I said, man, tell me about halal. So he took me to Clifton. We ate lunch at a place from a guy who's an old Muslim guy, and I said, man, tell me about this. He's like, well, it's got to be slaughtered in a certain way. And so this guy who runs this, he's 80-something years old. He used to be the guy for Cincinnati that would drive to Chicago every day and buy the meat that was slaughtered in that way to bring it back to all the Muslim people in Cincinnati.
Yep.
And so who would have thought old country boy from Boone County, right, would have became friends with a Muslim guy who took me to that restaurant who taught me some stuff. It's incredible, man.
Yeah, and that's what, and you know, that's what we need. Like, that's the circus right there. It's forcing people that are different to cooperate and get something done.
Like,
you know,
I love my Muslim friend, man.
Oh, absolutely.
He's incredible. I mean, he makes way more than me. He's an eye surgeon now, but he makes way more than me.
Well, you know.
Right? He called me to like get an electrician to fix something in his house.
Nice.
But I still went and had some little chicken thing and clipped him with him.
That's killer, man. No,
Right?
It's a neat. It's just a neat way to look at things and to collaborate with people, and you know, it's something we'll do. Thomas Massey, we'll get him out for dinner.
We'll figure it out, right?
Rashid and I, we'll figure it out.
I think this idea about you saying build a team, that might be the best advice to an entrepreneur.
Yes, build a team, and get out of the way. You know, I mean, I approve. You know, like this label that Ryan made. I was like, dude, it's awesome. I said, I want the teeth were a little bit different. I was like, just maybe do this or make it a little bit different. You know, but it's neat. You know, we had a debate about this label here. You know, like, and we just took a kind of a vote. Hey, should we keep it all green on one side, or do we keep the green on the raspberry? Do we pop it? And he's like, I don't think so. And I said, all right, well, we did it. It's cool because when you have a great team, you can all lean on each other, 100%. And then. But then it's cool too. Like, listen, I don't want to do this. You know, like I'm not going to make pizza.
Yep.
Right?
So at the end of the day, what makes a great team is you all get together, and hopefully there's people that are willing to come to the table, share their ideas, be willing to be wrong, and then come out and say, I just want best practice. Whoever had the idea, I want to vet this thing, and out of 10 of us, I just want the best idea. Leave my ego at the door. Let's create some great stuff.
Yeah.
So what's this? One for all.
One for all. That's I mean, it's just kind of the brand behind it. I mean, it's like we're the circus. It's the one wheel. It's the unicycle. One for all. I mean, we do a lot of events trying to bring all together, and you know, it's like loading the circus train. Everybody loads the train. Everybody unloads the train. Everybody does their thing. Then you go to the next town. You know, so it's not all for one. You know, one for all.
I think what's incredible in this world that. You being an entrepreneur, me being an entrepreneur, and the people that are sitting at this table, it's like, man, I just want to get a bunch of minds together doing a bunch of different things to help people and realize, like, hey, this thing can be done right. This entrepreneur, this business thing, this for-profit thing, it can be done right. Giving back, building communities, doing incredible things, and you can still build wealth.
Yeah.
And build financial independence. These can be done together. 100%. And then while you're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing, there's a lot of people that are learning along the way that maybe a Paul Miller and a Mark Perkins, maybe we can cut this learning curve down. And all those people coming up with us, maybe that they can do it quicker, better, carry on what we've learned and just make it even stronger.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the real estate side, you know, we got to get these people buying homes and understanding and putting the money in and getting it out.
You know, I just went to a closing before you. There was a chance I was going to be late. And I don't sell a ton myself with running the company, but I still want to be plugged in.
Right.
And there were people that I said, this is very unique in our Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky marketplace. I walked in, and I had my people selling the home. Traditional Northern Kentucky, 2 white people selling a home that was passed down through generations. On the other side of the table, they didn't speak English, and they're buying the home. So here's what you don't see anymore, and I felt like, man, I bet this is what it was like in the 50s and 60s. There was a dad. And there was a mom. I don't know whether it was South American, Mexico. I have no idea. Whatever it was, right? But it was somewhere south of the United States is with the origin. The dad didn't speak English. The mom kind of understood. And they had their son and daughter with them at the closing. They looked like they were probably 16 and 20. I mean, that never happens. It was a family event that was something to be proud about.
Yeah.
The loan officer was bilingual.
Right.
He was Latino or some sort, right? The agent, the real estate agent representing them, was bilingual Latino.
Sure.
The entire transaction, and I'm sitting next to the loan officer. He's like trying to because they always want referrals. And he's like, hey, man, you know, I was the one who did the loan and all this. And I was like, hey, good, man. And I say, tell me your story. He's like, well, I was a bank president for Heritage Bank locally. And I'm like, okay, this is good. That's a good look. This is a good feel. I'm like, why are you doing this now? And he said, man, to be honest with you, in the mortgage community, there weren't enough people like helping them. Right? And I just went, okay, this shit's working, man.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on in the world, I sat down today and went, all right, I'm not going to let the noise get to me. This stuff that Paul Miller and Mark Perkins and Mike Boyd and the people building this company and you doing what you're doing at beer, it's working.
It's working.
Shut the noise down and continue to work every day and buy into these communities.
Absolutely.
It felt incredible, and I walked out of there just smiling and I made money.
You made money,
right?
And that family, that family's like,
dude,
it's the American dream,
dude.
You know, and I think it's and
it felt great.
Yeah.
I've sold thousands of properties.
Sure,
we sold 1,200 homes this year.
Wow,
and that moment went.
Yeah.
December 20th. December 23rd.
There it is.
I went, this is what it's about, man.
Uh-huh.
And I came back and handed the check in, and I just said, okay, this is still working. And the smile on their face, and that being a family event, you can't tell me that stuff isn't changing generations and changing people.
Huge.
The same thing that some point in our generations, I don't know where we came from. I don't know where I came from. I truly don't. I haven't done genealogy, but you have, haven't you? No?
I'm mostly Irish. I mean, Cleveland, and that's another mentality. Like, I think there's all these entrepreneur groups, and they bring them in here, you know, whether it's, you know, the ones in Cincinnati, the ones over here, but it's hard to, like, this local kind of concept of the 275 loop or the cul-de-sac, it's hard to get people out, you know, but it's hard to get people out to Ludlow, you know, but a band, you know, any of the best. Hey, I want this much money. Hey, great, so do I. But here's the metrics, and here's how it's going to work.
Let's talk about the economics of this thing.
So, you know, a couple of the bands, you know, they're playing for half or 10% of what they want, but that, you know, that's not the yacht club. I understand, you know, and it's funny because once people get there, they're like, I've heard about this place, but it's on the but you gotta break that mentality. But Cleveland, it's cool because everything serves Cleveland. There's no tri-state area. There's no Kenton County, Boone County, Campbell County. Like, there's Canada and there's Cleveland. Like, everything serves the mothership, you know? And it's a weird here because East Side, West Side, I'm from Hyde Park, I'm from Delhi. Like, people don't mix it up, you know? And that's hard for me to process. And I've grown to accept it. You know, I mean, we lived a lot of places before we moved back here because there is no cheaper, safer, better place to raise kids.
Dude,
I mean,
this place,
silly.
Cincinnati,
it's silly.
This is ridiculous.
It is. It really.
I'm not being a homer when I say that.
Nope.
You've traveled worldwide. I've traveled a lot over the country.
Yeah.
And when I come back here, man, there's something special happening.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's a weird. It's a great place to be. I mean, when you're raising kids. When my kids, like, they can't wait to get out of here. They're from Chicago, you know. It's just fun. You know, their mom's from Kentucky, dad's from Cleveland.
They're from Chicago.
You know, and when we're introducing them in the show, you know, I'm like, oh, from Chicago, Illinois, Lucas Miller. He's like, yeah.
Going crazy.
You know, it's funny. It's funny.
So how do we support, man, this thing you're doing, and like the person you are, and just the inspiration, the passion? How do we support you and Bircus? Because this thing isn't just about the beer. Like, it's cool what this is serving.
Yeah.
So what do we do, man? Like, how do we continue to help you guys build this thing?
Come out and play bike polo. Get your pickleball rackets for Christmas. No, I mean, it's come down, you know, and it's it was cool. Like, we're trying to even position ourselves like a little mini convention center. Like, we did a socially distant lawn care. Like, everybody has to keep your credentials up, okay? Which is whatever. It's a hustle, but you got to go get your CREs or whatever. So, you know, instead of doing it at the Drawbridge or where, I mean, that's not around anymore, but instead of doing it at Hilton or booking out Northern Kentucky, come to Ludlow. Like, do it. Like, what we made, I said, you guys want a meat lovers pizza? I was like, so we'll make a custom pizza for you. You know, I had a vegetarian, a cheese option, and meat lovers. Man, we burned through all the pancetta I had to
literally
anyway.
burned through.
Oh, man, they were like, huh. And like, what's pancetta? You know, it's good, man. That's what it is.
Just get some.
Just, you know, meat. They're crossing this out. So it's fun. Like, that's fun to mess with people on that end. So I would say come and throw a party with us, you know, and
where do they find everything Bircus and Paul Miller, man? Where do we go?
Bircus.com is our website, and
BIRCUS.
BIRCUS, and you know, I mean, I'm working on a book. I'm going to do like a little outline. I mean, it'll be the asymmetrical clown entrepreneur's guide.
We know this,
whatever. So that's coming down the pipe this year, and it's neat because, you know, I've had access to some really neat people that are writers in P&G. Like, I got in trouble with P&G because we did some team building with them, and I told the business courier, but then they didn't want, you know, it was, we don't want shareholders thinking our people are at the circus, but it was so cool because it was like the oral care team, and they got to meet like at a neutral space off-site because they'd only Zoomed. I mean, and we had the South American and the Indian, and it was neat because at the time we had like circus staff from a couple different countries, you know, and we taught them to juggle and spin plates, and I put it in the business courier, and I got, so I got to get back in the good graces of the Procter & Gamble's of the world. But I just had a big mouth, and I was excited. This was a long time ago,
right?
too, you know?
Yeah.
So, but the team building, even socially distanced. Like, we did a great thing for Christ Hospital, the new residents. So they're like 30 people, and we closed down on a Monday we weren't open. We opened up for them, and we just had beer, and everyone stood around, and we taught them to spin plates and juggle, and it was a cool chance for them to have an icebreaker and not have it be bowling or not, just have it be something atypical.
Yep. So there's a couple different ways we can support you. So,
yeah.
A, if someone's coming to Cincinnati for anything, whether you live here
Yep.
in one of the burbs, just come across the river to Ludlow, Kentucky.
Well, it's so neat. So Yelp was like pounding me like, why do you advertise? I'm like, no, guys, you picked us as one of the 6 must-visit breweries in the whole United States.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool.
Oh, yeah, I saw it, man.
So, I was like, I'm not going to spend money marketing with you. I'm going to spend money creating great events. And when I make great events, your customers come down and they take pictures. So that's how I'm trying to like bust the social media algorithm.
100%.
If I spend a lot of money on an ad, it's going to go down low. Or once you start spending money, you got to keep spending until they push you. When you focus on creating great content, having a fire juggler, having a gorgeous aerialist perform in the air, everybody gets their phones out and they're checking in there and they're TikToking or sweeping or tweeting or whatever. It's a cool.
Yep.
So that's been.
It's brilliant. It's the right way. We have content people. We brought a guy in from Dallas.
Right.
It's the right way. We're training our agents to get local, man.
Yeah.
Like, get local, go into the communities, talk about what's special. It'll want to bring people there, and when they feel like they come to a community and something special, they're going to take pictures. They're going to feel special.
And it's neat because the band's like, oh, man, I heard about it. It becomes this thing of like, I heard how cool that thing. It was neat because why haven't we heard about you? Well, because, you're not in the, you'll when the time is
You'll
right.
get there.
You'll get there, But it becomes the thing like, oh, man, there's this place. And people drive in from Mason and Westchester
Yep.
and from Dry Ridge, like because they want to do something.
Comes to something different, man.
Like,
So-
hey, what's your Wi-Fi password? I'm like, we don't have public Wi-Fi.
Right.
We don't have 2x4 Jenga. We got no cornhole, and we only have 2 IPAs on tap. Like, it's almost like we're not even a brewery.
Yeah.
No, it's just fun.
Right?
Just
Come to the
messing with them,
Circus. We'll give you some beer. So I think, it's just a great place. When I was looking at the website earlier today, I went, you know what? This is an entertainment venue where you can just come that's a little bit outside the norm of our brain and just come enjoy yourself. Be happy for $20, for $30. Right?
Yeah.
Just come and experience it.
Come and see it. Have
right.
some fun. And when the world cleans up, et cetera, again, but having the balcony was great. We have 47 people can have like a private room up on the balcony and the mezzanine. So it's a neat space where you can kind of almost like design it almost like the opera house. Like if you want to be seen, you book out the mezzanine. It's, oh man, how do I get there? It's like this. So it's a neat, so people.
So businesses can do some stuff too. Like you said, there's all these group events, right? And you talk about, I think it's like, well, I'm standing behind you. I promise, just close your eyes and fall, and we're here to catch you, right? It's team building stuff, right?
Team building, and the chamber's been great. We've done a couple like business after hours things down there, and it's cool. It's really like there is a community and a culture that's really thriving in Ludlow, and
feels good.
It'll be neat. Yeah. So I mean, if people have stupid capital gains, I mean, it's getting ready to be end of the year. I don't know when this is airing or not, but if you have gains, my fund is open. So if people want to get in the opportunity fund,
Mike,
just saying,
can we get this out between Christmas and New Year's?
Let's do it.
Okay,
All
man.
right,
Good.
well,
All right, we got a lot
they
of
can
people
find
coming
me.
out. Yeah, man.
They can, I mean, if it's again, like I said, you should have a little asymmetry in your portfolio. But if you got 9 years to go, that's what I'll be doing. That's why we closed just about this time last year on Big Blue. So I got 9 more years, and we'll just keep rolling those gains in, and it'll be cool because we can do things, and people are always going to tell you can't. It's impossible, and that's why they go to the circus, to see the impossible.
I love it, man. So all things, you're a cool dude, man. Like you,
Thank you.
No, you're good. You're good stuff.
Thanks,
and
man.
so,
No,
hey, he even
hey.
took the chair and balanced it. He couldn't get out of here without doing it. So
That's Budweiser's got Clydesdales, and we got Circus Freaks.
All right.
That's our hustle here.
Bircus.com, all these wonderful drinks. He even made me drink some. And thanks for coming in, dude.
Thank you.
I hope that 2021. I hope things loosen up for everybody, but for us to find a way to even build greater things for Ludlow, for Northern Kentucky, for Cincinnati, wherever somebody is.
Everywhere.
Yeah, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you, bud.
Yep.